I welcome it. If you see my girl walking down the street, call her a bitch. Go ahead. She can handle it. I welcome it. It's nice.
I think everyone should
do it. You see her, just spit on her.
Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast with Jackie and Johnny. I'm Jackie Agnew.
I'm Johnny DeVito.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We got a great guest coming at you. A hot.
Is this how you're doing it, Jackie?
We're playing it fast and loose.
You're gonna bring it. We just had a great guest. We don't normally do the intro.
Right after we have the
right
guest.
after that we have the guest.
Yeah.
But we have the guest. We just had a great time with the guest.
We did, yeah.
And you're like, we got a guest coming in. That's hot.
Well, I didn't prepare the intro.
We didn't. We just kind of go. We kind of go right off.
It's fast and loose. But we have a great guest for you. He produces many shows around town.
That he does.
Hopefully, in the new year, they'll be coming back at you hot.
You know, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Right?
Truly.
And,
one of our great friends in comedy, Ruthless Ravi Khanna, is here for you tonight, today, whenever you're fucking listening. He's here. That's the beauty of pre-recorded interviews.
Yeah, they'll always be here when you need it, Jackie. I love the heat that you're bringing. I mean, clearly we had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to affect the quality of this podcast. I think it's only.
I don't
going
think
to
so. I
affect
think
the
it's going
quality
to
of this intro.
Enhance it.
Sure.
That's
Absolutely.
the sound of enhancement.
No, Jackie. The sound of enhancement would be like anesthesia and like scalpel. You know what I mean, right?
Okay.
Like breast enhancement. You know what I mean? Penile enhancement. Right?
Okay. Yeah. It is not.
The sound of enhancement.
I think that overall. I think that can sums it all up.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with you. There's no way. There's no way that I would bring this to a level. If you want to see us argue, then you can go to YouTube and check out the roast battle. We're not going to share it anywhere. We're not going to share it with our parents. But if you want to see us go hard in the paint,
yeah, yeah, you can watch the roast battle there. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, please. Like, please follow.
Please.
Please.
Should we
Share
redo this?
with
Are we having fun?
No, this is good.
Okay.
Share with your friends and your family. Just share. I don't think you'd really decipher who you're sharing with. You just share. I don't think it's like share with your friends and no one else. I think you just share, right? It's always just like an overall share.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, right? Because if I'm going to share, like I'm going to share the, you know what I mean, like the truth, right? I want to speak the truth to the youth.
Yeah.
But like I don't discriminate of which youth I'm speaking that truth to.
Exactly. You're just speaking, and you're sharing, and share us. Hey, what's up? Hey, why don't you give us a share?
Yeah, like think about us like a couple of extra cookies in the bag, and you're like, well, I've had enough cookies, and like I'm sure, like I mean, I'm a fat fuck, so I could eat all these cookies, but I got 2 extra, and there's some homies over here.
Some of those Chips Ahoy with mini eggs.
Yeah, Peter
we
Grant.
learned of those. Also,
do
you guys?
Like 2 rolls of those things before we went outside.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so
did you know that they have Reese's peanut butter cups with potato chips inside of them now?
We didn't get a clarification on whether or not they were good. But,
yeah, we saw them and we're like, ugh. And then we told a comic friend of ours about them, and then he went and got them, but we did not ask for a review.
This is great radio, Jackie. This is 2.5 hour
so
episode.
If you're
and,
looking for like a sweet new snack, apparently they have Reese's peanut butter cups with potato chips inside of them.
This is not a sponsored advertisement.
No.
We're not in bed with Big Reese's or any kind of potato chip.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we wouldn't like to be. but that's just not the case. We're
if
just,
Reese's is listening,
you know what I mean. We're just here to bring this kind of truth forward. Jackie, I feel like we got to get to the episode.
Yeah, we have a good episode. It's a longer episode because we just had such a grand old time.
Yeah, when you speak to the people that you love, and, and they go fucking hard in the paint. Yeah. You hang on. You hang on for a couple extra minutes because it was so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Comedy Ring. There was an audio issue at the end, so you're not going to hear him be able to promote all of his stuff. But check out the YVR podcast and
check out Comedy Ring shows and check out if you search Ruthless Ravi Khanna on Instagram, he will certainly be the profile that comes
absolutely. up. Definitely top of the list there. Top of the list.
And we'll have it all in the description as well.
Oh, absolutely. Go scroll on down, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, one of the nicest dudes in comedy, one of the most misunderstood, I think, probably people in comedy. And
after this podcast, he drove us to the liquor store and drove us to a liquor store. It was closed. Then drove us to another, and then drove us back home.
I love you didn't need to tell him you were drunk, but now like. If this intro is wavering at any moment, don't blame us. Blame Peter Grant as always.
Yeah. You can take up your grievances with Peter Grant, unsponsored Peter Grant.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are half in the bag, and we're pleased to present to you the Ruthless Ravi Khanna. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we have a wonderful guest. I mean, what else can you say about the man? The man to my left right now, the king of the comedy ring, the ruthless one, a walking Simpsons encyclopedia, ladies and gentlemen, Ravi Khanna. How are you doing, brother?
That was a really nice way of just calling me super autistic. But
yeah. I didn't want to say it like that.
You can literally quote any episode of The Simpsons to you.
It's impressive to some people, and it's like a warning sign to others.
It's like years of my life went into that.
Yeah.
It's rough. I'd rather know, like, calculus, how to change a tire.
Do you have family members that are much more successful in other ways that like we're wasting their time?
Yeah, like they're doctors and lawyers.
Yeah,
but, like they're just as happy as I am.
They don't know anything about Grimes. They don't know what Grimes.
You go tell them to quote,
exactly.
Season 3, episode 5. They can't do it.
They're
when
not
did Maud
near
Flanders
as fun
die?
at parties.
Maud Flanders died in season 11 at the racetrack. It was
Jackie, have you gotten there? I don't think we've gotten there yet.
I don't think
we've been
so.
watching from the beginning.
We've started watching from the beginning, but then we started jumping around in October because we were doing all the Treehouse of Horrors.
There's a good website called most people just watch on Disney Plus, but if you do cmburns.xyz, and it's like a partial like sketchy site, but you click it and it'll give you a random episode from season 1 to 12.
Oh,
so it's just
a great way to watch.
Oh yeah,
That's
it just gives you randoms. And
yeah. I think running through like it feels like a marathon when you're doing it like that. But after like I mean if it's been a part of your life for 30 fucking years, and it's nice just to not not have to decide
I don't
like which
thinking,
one.
Yeah. Put one on and
totally. If you have an all-time favorite, let's start season and then we'll narrow it down to episode.
So for me, season 8.
Yeah,
I got the episode too. Season 8, episode 1. You only move twice. It was Albert Brooks as Hank Scorpio. You guys see this one? Like Homer moves to Homer gets a new job in a different town working the same job. And then Albert Brooks is his boss, and he's just like a super like a Bond villain basically.
Yeah, but like the super nice guy.
Super nice boss though.
They go to like the Bart and Lisa go to a better school. All that stuff. Okay,
but the family starts having troubles even though Homer's just excelling.
Yeah,
that's my fucking favorite
no
episode.
Shit. That's kind of a deep cut. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Fuck yeah, man. So then so I mean like Simpsons talk aside here, okay? Like sometimes we talk a little music, sometimes we don't talk music, but this one I'm a little bit excited about because the album, of course, Kanye West, dark, twisted fucking fantasy.
Beautiful.
Yes. I listened to it today. Yes. I did the homework. In 2010. Now, I'm not going to say that Kanye West is my favorite rapper of all time because he's not. And like I was telling Jackie this morning, it's just rich guy problems don't really fucking interest me anymore. Like, I want to hear like bars and shit, right? I want the Roots or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something. But then at a closer look, like the features on the album are awesome. You know what I mean? With like from the RZA and Raekwon, like all the way to like Rick Ross has a fucking dope verse on
One
this
of
thing.
them. To me, that's the greatest. That's the greatest guest verse ever.
Yeah,
I think,
no shit. Hey?
Devil in a New Dress.
Yeah, I was like really fucking blown away. Push T, obviously Jay-Z and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff on this album that I didn't dig, but I mean, by the time you get to a Chris Rock sample at the end,
That's the best.
like,
Blame game.
yeah.
Sweet.
So like something about it, like I almost wasn't feeling it, but then you look at the date and you're like 2010, you're like, this might have like pioneered a lot of the shit that you're hearing today. So it sounds like a lot of the stuff that I've heard before, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this, but you're like, oh wait a minute, this might have been light years before its time.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I think the beautiful thing with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is that album came out of what led to that album. 2009 at the VMAs, Kanye shows up just fucked up with Amber Rose. Remember at the VMAs where he showed up just trashed? Like
Porn Star Girl, yeah.
when
Was
he
he like, was that the Carrie Underwood debacle and all that shit?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Carrie Underwood.
Jesus Christ.
Carrie Underwood would have fucked him up.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
yeah.
heard what she does. No,
Dump
but
my keys to the side.
I stopped cheating for like 3 months when that song dropped. I was just like, oh, these bitches are capable.
You just had to let
Bitches are capable.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't. I don't know.
you had to let the heat die down a little
I was
bit
like, yeah, I'll let it pass for a bit.
They're getting a lot of ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
By the time Britney drops in a couple months, you're looking around like,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Like,
I'm good.
No, so Kanye shows up at the VMAs just fucked up with a bottle of Henny, and Amber Rose, who was like super hot at the time too, like Kanye was killing it. But it was right after his mom passed, and he was just going through some dark shit.
Yeah.
Shows up at the VMAs, and then just has fun. Like he has the classic line there where I use all the time, where it's like they asked him like, "Are you drinking?" And he's just like, "We ain't really drunk. We just had a few brews, right?" That's his classic line. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
But he was fucked. Like he's got like there's a photo of him and Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's dad, where Kanye's like pouring the Hennessy in his mouth. This is fucking dope, man.
Just a few brews. Just a
few brews, yeah. So he's fucked up, and then of course Taylor Swift wins Best Video. And Beyonce did have the best video that year for single video. Single Ladies.
He had a great point.
Yeah.
He was not wrong.
What was the? I mean,
questionable,
Single
but-
Ladies is like it's what are we? 11 years later, that was one of the biggest singles of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
was.
Especially for like
Yeah.
what was Taylor's song? that
Taylor
year?
won for like Love Story, maybe. I love.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
Some
even
other
fucking
songs.
know.
For what?
Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
songs.
Well,
that
okay,
everyone
fair
loves.
enough.
So
Yeah,
Kanye
yeah.
goes up
Fuck
and was
knows,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best album of all time, best music videos of all time, and everyone in the crowd and Beyonce is there, just like, oh shit, like,
Here we go. Do not bring me into
why
this.
is this happening? But it's true, like you sitting there, like you gotta watch somebody else win, and it's like, God, like we've been in that situation.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Very
Like,
recently.
Why is this person
Yeah.
winning when I'm better than this
Yep.
person?
Yep.
Happens a lot.
Happens a
Yeah,
lot,
it
definitely.
does.
Yeah, sometimes it's not based on merit, you know.
Not at all. No,
Yeah.
it's based on how many people
Quite
you
often.
bring
Yep.
Exactly.
It is.
from your meetup groups. Anyway, I don't give a fuck. Anyway.
The ruthless one.
I don't care. Anyways, yeah. So then after that, Kanye just gets like just destroyed in the media. Obama called him an asshole. She was just rough, and it was just unraveling. Like people were trying to cancel. This is before real cancel culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people were like,
Yeah.
"Oh
You could
fuck
get
this guy. Why do we?
canceled.
Totally.
Why do we like?" And people didn't take into account like, "All right, the man's mom just passed away.
Yep.
Like he's dealing with some
Totally.
rough shit.
He's
Help the
clearly
man."
fucked out of
Yeah.
his mind.
Yeah, and everyone's
right
just
now,
like,
yeah.
"No, fuck him." Like, you know, if Kanye had died at that time, I would have been like, "Yeah, it was." You could see
Yeah.
it coming.
Yeah,
like,
fair
Yeah.
enough. Totally.
So what Kanye does is he's on Leno like a week later, and Leno's like, "Yeah, you know, you're at the VMAs, and you know, you went after Taylor, and what would your mom think about that? Would she be disappointed?" And
Oh my
Kanye's just
God.
like can't answer the question because he's like, "Yeah, you're right. It was wrong of me to do." Like he didn't
Yeah.
apologize, but he's like, "Yeah, she would be
He's
disappointed."
like, I never thought
Sure.
about it like that, Jay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.
He's like, yeah, you see these headlines? It's like, no. Like, I miss Jay. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So Kanye, you weren't saying, have you heard about this?
Yeah, you see this?
You
You
heard
heard this?
that? You
Hey,
heard
Kev,
this?
dude, if
Yeah.
I wish I had a Kevin Eubanks in my life, man, just to laugh. I guess Sahib is that for me. Just
Yeah.
to laugh at everything I say. That's all I need. Yeah, so fucking, then Kanye, after that interview, just disappears. Like, he goes on a self-imposed exile, goes to Hawaii, and then starts coming up with Dark Twisted Fantasy. And he's like, his philosophy was, I want to create, like, I want to treat an album like a movie. So they pay, like, Def Jam paid like $3 million to get this album made. It's still to this day one of the most expensive albums to create.
Just because of the fucking outrageous shit they had to like give up, I guess, to get it made. Like here's the here's the trip to Hawaii. Here's the keys to the mansion.
Yeah.
Plane tickets for everybody from Pusha T to Rick Ross.
Oh
to
no!
come out.
Like you hear the stories of these guys telling of like the creation of this album, and they're all in Hawaii every day. They're hanging together every day. They're eating together. They're playing basketball.
It's not all samples either. There's a lot of guitars. There's a lot of live drums.
Oh,
on this.
dude,
So,
like,
I mean, I imagine
so
there was
much
musicians
going
and shit
on
out
this
there.
Like the
as well,
first person you hear on the album is Justin Vernon from Bon Iver.
Yeah.
Who's just like doing like, I was never listening to Bon Iver back in the day, but then I'm like I'm listening to this guy's voice and I'm like, damn, this is good, like just mushroom eating music. Like
there was something.
yeah.
There was a track on the end of the album
Lost
with him
in
as
the
well,
World.
Lost in the
right?
World,
yeah,
So
that was
good.
okay.
Yeah.
So Lost in the World. We'll just talk about each whatever as it comes up. Who cares?
Yeah.
But Lost in the World.
This album's
Yeah.
gonna jump
We
over it.
play
Hey,
Fast
stop
and
and
Loose
listen
here.
to the fucking
Track-
record now,
yeah.
and then yeah.
Track 13, Lost in the World. It starts with like this poem that Kanye has where he's like, basically it's just like you're my devil, you're my angel, you're my heaven, you're my hell, you're my now, you're my forever, you're my freedom, you're my jail. So it's all just the juxtapositions, like the back and forth. That was a poem he wrote for Kim Kardashian in like 2008 or 9 or some shit like that, and he just sent it to her before they were even together.
Yeah, Pete Davidson ain't
way
writing Kim
before.
shit like that.
Pete Davidson,
come on,
what is
Pete.
it with Pete? Like Pete Davidson,
Dude.
respect gives faith, like faith to all of us. Just like
Yeah, I know, dude. Totally. I don't know, but like
he's fucking killing
he's
it
got to
out
have a
there.
piece on him or something.
Oh, he does.
That-
No, totally.
That's like
Yeah.
he's the biggest rebound cock in Hollywood. right now.
Ariana Grande, he
She-
went through. Kate
yeah.
Wins, like a bunch of the Beckinsale, all these bitches. Like I'm like Pete Davidson, and he's got because all these celebrities come to SNL, and then they end up smoking weed with Pete Davidson, I guess, and then just one thing leads
I
to
guess
another.
he has access to a lot of people. Yeah.
That was one of
And
my,
he could probably spit some fucking game. I mean, let's give him some
Oh,
credit where
I'm
it's
sure.
due.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sure
like-
he's very charming to talk to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I ever hear him talk about is his dad. He's like,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
dad died in 9/11. Want to suck my dick? Is that what he said? Like,
Suck my
One time there was a
massive
guy
cock.
that died dragging 2 of his friends to safety, and he had a son with a cock. And do you want to suck it?
did his dad actually die in 9/11, or is he one of those guys who
Yeah.
died on 9/11?
No,
Just had a heart
no.
attack watching.
Yeah.
It's unrelated.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
you
think there's
know,
a guy in Florida that tried to sue. Like, you know what I mean? This is a 9/11 related death.
Yeah.
he wasn't anywhere near ground zero. He's like,
Exactly.
oh,
Who are we gonna try? The
had a
Taliban?
rough day.
But
Yeah.
oh man. But apparently he was a like
He was
New
a
York firefighter on the day.
Yeah.
No,
he was a
yeah, I like that.
firefighter,
That was
yeah.
one of my favorite things I saw this month, where it was like, if Princess Diana were still alive, she'd be fucking Pete Davidson right now.
Totally,
It's like, probably true,
100%.
yeah.
I think like even after him and like Ariana Grande broke up, she like said publicly like what a big dick he has, and then like in his Netflix special, he was like, "Do you realize how much she fucked me over when she said that?
Yeah.
Because how everyone expects me to have this massive cock."
Yeah, I always tell people, like, with me, like, that's the one thing. There's a lot of, like, photo evidence that would, like, I can't ever say I have a huge cock.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, it's very average. Like,
Yeah.
I always tell people I'm a shower, not a grower. Like,
Hey,
what
there
what
you
you
go.
see is what you get.
Yeah, totally.
It's what it is. It's not getting any better. So enjoy it while it's here. That's what it is.
man.
Yeah, no, but Lost in the World is one of those tracks. So you got Kanye doing that, and then it just goes into just the dopest beat
Yeah.
of just, hey, John, can you grab me another too? Yeah, thank you, bro. I had a couple before I got here, but you know.
Yeah.
No, that is a fucking just beautiful beat, beautiful sound,
Totally.
and it's like really, if you look at like the themes of the album, thank
Yeah.
you, brother. Oh yeah, perfect, that's great. Yeah, just drop them there. Like the themes of the album, just like it's interesting. Like you start with this where it's the first track on the album. Dark Fantasy. It starts off like a fairy tale because you have Nicki Minaj reading like this allegory, which was actually adapted from a Roald Dahl short story about Cinderella, like his version of it.
Okay.
So like, it's pretty interesting, like
Yeah.
the shit that they draw from and like.
There's a lot
go
more
from.
depth than like I mean, given it the past that I gave it. You know, I listened to it pretty in depth. I'm trying to read a little bit about it, but there was a lot of there's probably a lot more depth there that I didn't pick up on.
And it's also interesting going back and listening to it because I'm like, fuck, remember when Nicki Minaj was like the shit? Like now,
In terms
like,
of
no one
female
gives-
rappers, yeah, at that time.
Exactly,
She
yeah,
crushed.
she
What's
was
that fucking
everything.
fucking ridiculous or whatever? Like everybody's got a verse on that. Like is she the
Monster.
Chick? Is
Oh,
Monster. Is she the
Monster.
one with the
Oh,
verse in that?
yeah,
Because she's
yeah.
that was dope.
That song had Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Kanye on it, and she had the best verse.
Yeah.
Did you
Like,
also have the RZA? Which one also had the RZA on there?
Riz
too?
was on there too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
That's the great. Like when I think of just albums, like to me, Dark Twisted Fantasy, it's not just a great hip hop album. To me, it's the greatest album of all time.
No shit,
Like
man.
for me, it just like because we're the same age. Like growing up,
Yeah,
like
totally.
Kanye came out when we were like just hitting high school, right? Because I remember like he did Blueprint for Jay-Z. fucking H to the Izzo, This Can't Be Life. All those tracks are like legendary.
Dude, I remember Black Album the first time, like big Jay-Z fan, first time that I've ever heard Kanye's voice at the beginning of "Can I Get an Encore?" Like, you know what I mean? Like he's been around for a minute there, but it took him a while for him to blow up into his own.
Well, that was
Do
the
his
thing.
own
Like at the
thing.
beginning, everybody just wanted him for his beats. They didn't like
to
it. They
produce,
laughed. Like he'd go to places, play them Jesus Walks, and they laughed at him. Like, what the fuck is this garbage?
Oh,
like,
shit.
it's like. I'm like, dude, like this is.
If they had no idea, because then what is it?
well,
What is
the
it about
whole,
Through the Wire then? Because like that was the first song that really broke.
That was
through.
after, so he was working on. So finally, Def Jam signed him. They were like, "Fuck it, we'll just give him a deal." Like, If worst case, if the album's not good, we'll throw on like a fucking GLC and Consequence on every track, Talib Kweli on every track, and make it good. They just wanted him for his beats because his beats were like no one was doing that soul fucking sample. It was like Jay-Z was like. There's videos of like I love those videos of. Like Jay-Z in the studio or any of these guys in the studio. And there's a video of like Timbaland playing him like the beat for Dirt Off Your Shoulder. And you just see Jay-Z's just camel face just going like,
okay.
And he's all good. Like every song he's like, ooh, he's like making this thing face. It's like, I love those videos. But like Kanye would just go in there, play the beats and everyone's like, who's this for? He's like, well, I'm saving that for DMX. He's like, no, that's ours now. We're taking that. And then eventually they had to sign him. They're like, we got no choice. Fucking let him make his album.
Well, you're kind of right. That's
College Dropout. The last track there is like all about like fucking 10 minutes, all about how last call. How like talking, like telling this whole story about how no one wanted him for anything but his beats, and then like. He like basically forced his way in because like he was so good at producing and shit, and so they finally were like, okay, whatever.
It was kind of interesting. You can kind of see like that stuff, like All Falls Down, or even like oh shit, what was it like Spaceship and stuff like that. Like you know what I mean? But all of that stuff was kind of like either like there's such like a soulful kind of element there or whatever that you still kind of have here, but now it's just like cranked to fucking 11 with like I mean honestly like some like the auto tune, the gospel, some of the stuff like I'm not really into, right? But like the hard like 808s and like the hard bass hits and stuff like that. Like I mean, you could see the progression. It's kind of fucking wild that now everything sounds like that.
And I think like this is like the album where he started like really like leaning into like his artistry like outside of the realm of hip hop, and he wasn't afraid to experiment. Because I remember when my first introduction to this album was when the like Runaway like basically short film came out, and I was like, holy fuck, this is wild.
Is that
like,
the one where they're all at a fucking like Thanksgiving dinner table?
Yes.
And bitch got like fucking
So
like
turkey
wings
Ebanks,
and shit
dude, she was so hot at that time. God damn, I'm gonna jack mental note to jack off to that video pictures of Sleety Ebanks later tonight.
Bookmark.
Yeah, that's going in the mental spank bank right now. No, that Runaway, because that's the thing, like. You know, like Michael Jackson would do that a lot, where he would have like a short film for a song, and it would premiere that way. But in the last like 15, 20 years, no one's really doing it that way.
To the point that it seemed outrageous when he did it, right?
Like it's like, oh, a 30-minute movie?
Yeah.
Like,
we saw
and when
that.
he has all the fucking like ballerinas and like the
for
black.
Runaway.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
Was
good,
it because
yeah.
when I remember when that came out and I was on the other side of the fence going, what the fuck is
No,
this
no.
guy
I
doing?
was,
And that
I was
going
a fucking,
away
I was
from like
at the time I was like a ballerina, so I was like, oh, this is fucking so cool.
Yeah.
that
That's
this
fair.
is like in a fucking hip hop.
yeah, but I'm like
video,
a rap fan, and he was with
Yeah.
Black Thought doing Gorilla Monsoon rap on like
Yeah.
one album ago, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So it got really artsy. Like he started incorporating all this fashion, like because
Yeah.
even like now you look at it, like it's been 10 years, more than 10 years since that album came out. When that album dropped, I was 20, 21 around there, and I was partying a lot. Like it was a lot of excess, and just like I was making pretty good money at the time too. Selling cell phones. Just like when the
Hustling those
iPhone
cell
3
phones,
dropped,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good for a
Peak
20-year-old.
cell phone hustling years.
And I was just doing a lot of drugs and just living like a lot of like that. Like the album, one of the themes is excess, and it's like you know you find yourself living in this just this like plastic life. He says where it's like none of this shit's real, but it feels nice. There's a lot of lines, like quotable lines, where I'll be driving some nights, even after shows to this day, where certain lines will just hit me. Like there's one where it's like something about just feeling pain, and it's like, what's worse? We drank until the pain over, but what's worse, the pain or the hangover? And I'm like, God damn it. It's so deep.
Don't gotta be so real.
God damn it, Kanye. No, is this album for me, like, this is the one thing I love about this album, too, is that when it came out, at the time, it was like, 50 Cent was still popping. You had The Game. Rick Ross. Drake was kind of just starting out with his shit.
And at this time, too, it was the height of, like, underground hip hop too, and I think like Atmosphere and a lot of that stuff, like Aesop Rock, POS, like at the time where I was listening to this, and even like Static Selector was putting guys on like Rex and fucking Terminology. Royce 5'9" had the DJ Premier album come out, so around this time there was also like hard beats and hard rhymes. So I was always like the skills guy or whatever. So as this went like more towards art, I was over here like on my real rap shit, like fuck this, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, like at that time too. I remember my girl was really into J. Cole. Like she loved J. Cole.
Exactly, right?
She was like, it's so funny. Like that year, 2010, she saw J. Cole at Fortune, which is a place we've all played.
Yeah.
And there was more people at our shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's wild to think about.
Well, shout out to you for promoting that shit, because I've been to a few shows in there that there was when I was on that stage, I was looking out to a bigger room than I've been a member of an audience at.
I like that. Like that's one thing about Dark Twisted Fantasy that I love is that at the time, like people were putting out their shit lyrically. It was great. People were talking about real stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, man, like my girlfriend. I was like, why do you like this guy, Jake? I didn't get J. Cole at the beginning. I was like, I don't know. Like this guy's just talking about struggles and fucking going to school and all this shit. And she's like, well, I'm going to school and I'm struggling. And so she could relate to that.
Yeah.
But for me, like with Kanye, like I fucked with Kanye because Kanye's talking about just like not having enough cocaine and like like just rich bougie
I'm super
shit.
Exactly. Like
stuff,
I'm way too
relatable
successful
stuff,
right now, and I got some money to burn here. So,
I was like, I just want to party. Like I just want some party anthems.
Yeah.
I want some shit. But then he also dealt with like the real shit where it's like, okay, well, like because that's the thing. Like when the cameras go off, it's very hard to turn off this, like just being fun.
Of course, yeah.
Like there's nights like after show, like especially after roast battles, like there's
God.
no sleep. You're awake. Like
You're
there's
not.
no
Dude, we turned this room out until like 4 in the morning.
Until like 4 a.m. after the last roast
and it's
battle.
just like and then it's great because like when it's happening, you got all the adulation. Everyone's going, "Oh, great job! That was so funny. That was great. I loved it." You got your families there. It's like, "Oh, this is great!" Like everyone got to see me do my thing. It's cool.
Hell yeah.
And then at a certain point, it's just you alone in the dark, and you're like, well, okay. What do I do now? You know?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I know. We can all relate to
I just took a fucking loss, and I had a rough day yesterday.
Well, and then when the album came out, like there's songs dealing with this shit where he's talking about real shit, and you're like, God damn, like Gorgeous is one of my favorite tracks off the album. I think it's track 3 or track 4, and he's got like Cudi comes on at the beginning. Cudi's just like, ain't no question, if I own it, I want it. Like he's just talking about like just achieving. And just like whatever I want in this life, I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna take it. Like it's not about getting it or earning it. It's just about taking it because people ain't gonna give a shit.
Totally.
And that's the thing we all realize too, because we have conversations about this stuff all the time. Like, no one asks. I'm like, well, no one's gonna ask. You gotta just take it.
Yeah, exactly. There's nobody knocking on your door to give you a goddamn thing.
Weird, and it's like they should be.
100%.
100%.
Right? It would make their shows a lot better. But what are you gonna do?
What can you do?
Yeah. And even like things where you feel like I've earned this, and people are like, I don't give a fuck.
People don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
There's this other person that's a lot less funny than you that I think,
Yeah, exactly.
But we know that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, look, okay, you're on stage, you're written, prepared shit. Yeah, it might be killing. What are you doing in the circle though outside?
Exactly.
What are you making that? You ain't popping off like that.
What are you really about?
You ain't popping off on these streets like that.
Yeah, at a certain point, the 40 people you bring to every show aren't gonna carry you through.
Gorgeous is one of my favorite tracks off the album too. Just it's a song that I bump like constantly too because it's got that hard rock just guitar beat at the beginning where you're like, oh, this is different. Like this is turned up all the way. And then Cudi's voice. I love Kid Cudi. Like for me, Kid Cudi came out like when Day and Night dropped around the same time, 2009, 2010. Like I remember.
Oh, we were such on so different. That I used to call that titty bar music. That's a titty bar song.
Oh, it was great. Day and night. It was just, and I remember that was
huge song.
People don't discover music like that anymore. I feel like
in
where
a titty
it was
bar?
like remember datpiff.com.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I used to get all my music off DatPiff.
See, I went to undergroundhiphop.com.
That was a good one too. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Like I remember downloading Day and Night, the Crookers remix, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then he's all over 808s and Heartbreak, and then he's
that
on
fucking but that song specifically, like again, like one of the biggest fucking like I'd say hits out of like an artist that to me kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
right? That fucking song blew the fuck up.
The Kid Named Cudi mixtape. I miss mixtapes. No one's doing mixtapes like that anymore.
We were just recently talking about this.
Yeah, there was like, I mean, so the people that could do them great could do them great, and like the ones that like I still have some that I got in high school that are still some of the best hip hop albums to me of all time. There was like an oversaturation of the market there where I think like one of my favorite Apathy lines, instead of dropping classics and making sure shit bumps, you drop a bullshit mixtape every 6 months, like all that shit, like that happened, but But like some of that like G-Unit stuff was undeniable at the beginning. You know what I mean? Some of the like the DJs that were putting other cats on, like Marco Polo would do like fucking like Port Authority, and all of a sudden you have like unknown guys like unsung heroes, I guess, like underrated dudes like Masked Ace on there with like, you know, new cats or whatever, and then like, you know, throw Cardinal of Fishallabone or whatever, and he'd fucking knock it out of the park. And like, so then I would like those ones like that, right? But as far as like one artist coming out and just kind of proving that they like, you know, could do it, they were doing shit at like a Tupac level fucking, you know, of just output that I think a lot of people aren't doing now, and that's what sucks about the music industry. For a lot of fucking, I think for a lot of young kids or whatever, you don't have like hungry artists, you know, putting out more music to prove that they're better. They're putting them out like song by song because that's kind of how music is digested and shit now,
dude,
and it's kind of whack.
Every kid that follows me on like Instagram now, they're like, new track dropping in 6 weeks, and they just build up to the track, and then they like rent out a Cactus Club back room, and they're like, album release party, and I'm like, all right. They're like, yo, bro, you want to roll through and MC this thing? I'm like, go fuck yourself.
No, I fucking don't.
I'm like, no, I'm good, man. Good luck to you, though.
Exactly. Yeah. There's, I don't know, right? Because I'm still like a Pierce in the sense of an album. I mean, that's the whole format for this fucking show, right? It's like it's, you know, you're talking about the whole piece of work, right? Yeah. So now, I don't know. Maybe the show will have to evolve as fucking as music as the music industry does.
You know, I like.
Evolves,
one thing I like about the show is like how different people sit on the couch, because it's a super comfortable couch.
Everyone has to adjust.
Like,
yeah.
It's funny because like how you are comfortable is not how it looks on camera, so it's really funny. Sometimes
well,
I'm
I know
like,
how I was sitting right before this, my guts like hanging out and my titties are all out.
Sometimes like I'll be like, what the hell is my hand doing and shit? It's like chilling, like,
Because I usually like rock like the cross-legged, and it's usually because I think we've had like 2 girls on as guests, and other than that, it's like all guys. Yeah. But then when we had Ty on, I was watching. I was like, Ty's rocking cross-legged for this whole thing.
Oh, you know, he's got like that tantric sting thing going on.
He built like a praying mantis. I love that guy, but like he does not get his pants in the men's section. And, like,
I don't know why you mad at me. You know where you got that shirt from, and it wasn't the men's section.
It's a blouse. That form-fitting. Yeah.
Like it's fucking crazy.
I'll go golfing with Ty, and he's like he dresses like a golfer. Like it's like that Happy Gilmore scene where he's like, thanks for dressing up, and he's like, if I look like that, I have to kick my own ass.
Yeah, dude, he's the drip god, man. His golf ball matches his shoes.
Oh,
dude.
he's beautiful. I love Ty. Ty is my favorite. Ty.
He came here in a full fucking after a hard Chicago Bears loss. Dipped head to toe.
Just like head to toe.
I've been trying to find his Airbud 5 Spike This, and I just can't find it anywhere. It's like no joke. I just can't find it anywhere.
Fuck, I feel like one of the streaming sites has like all of them.
I'm gonna find it.
It's out there.
He's in the Airbud universe, because you know now it's all the remakes and shit. I was like, hey man, if they decide to reboot the Airbud universe, you gotta be there.
You gotta fucking be there.
Does Ty have history with Airbud?
Yeah, he was in Airbud 5. Spike This, Airbud 5, Spike This. Did you not hear that?
That's his credit.
Yeah. That's kidding me? I'll sometimes bring him out, like, you might know this next guy from Airbud 5, Spike This.
Ty, we've been friends. You've never told me this.
No, it's great. Ty's the man. I love that.
Yeah,
dude.
this is so good.
God,
honestly, like in terms of like just being talented, I don't think because I feel like I'm not talented at all. It's like I'm just fucking around. But Ty's like a genuinely talented guy. Like
Ty's an appallingly talented human being.
It's
play
upsetting.
Instruments and he can like write jokes and stuff like that. He's charismatic and just a nice guy in public. You're like, fuck you, man.
He's good on the golf course too.
He like damn it, he battled his demons and won.
Yeah,
like,
right?
I'm like, fuck this guy.
God, yeah, and
Still
just
cool
like
afterwards
the
too?
nicest guy ever. Yeah.
He's got to be doing something weird though.
I'm sure there's some weird things going on. Yeah.
He's not getting another roommate, so I think that says it all.
Yeah.
He did that boy dirty.
Oh yeah. That's my man. He knows it. It's funny when a guy gets like a little bit of free space though, and then starts getting hobbies and shit. So he said that he was gonna do like a grow tent in his room, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, totally do that. But it's like it's a huge investment to start like growing dope in your room when it's like the market's saturated. It's not like you're gonna go and sell that shit. So I'm like, hey, okay, fine, I can't talk you into that. What are you gonna do? And he's just like, oh, well, I'm already growing mushrooms in here.
Yeah,
but it's not even like shrooms. It's like blue oyster mushrooms.
Yeah, no, he's just into like regular mushrooms. I'm like, oh.
It's kind of not as fun, man.
Yeah,
But all right.
we were over there the other night, and yeah, he showed us his mushrooms. But yeah, it's so funny now because he has the whole space to himself, and so he has these like neon lights.
Yeah, the purple
there,
lighting.
But there's just like
cool.
so much empty space. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It's like I think you want to keep it kind of more open concept because
Totally.
like when we leave in like the
Yeah.
the fucking nighttime like COVID dodging titty bar or whatever that he's doing over there kind of pops off. It's like everything's already set up. You know what I mean?
Did you ever
Yeah.
watch the episode where Principal Skinner got exposed as a fraud, and there's like he stole the Principal Skinner
Yes.
guy?
Well, like I mean, this
Yes,
is this
yeah,
is like this is the most
yeah.
controversial
Oh my
episode
God,
in
yeah.
Simpsons history. Armin Tanzarian.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Ty's just Armin Tanzarian. Like, this is Armin's bed, Armin's TV, Armin's copy of Spank.
We fucking when we were watching all the Treehouse of Horrors, there was one in like a later season, so like we weren't expecting much, but there was this one fucking joke that I still think about like every other day. That was like they were in like the fucking 1800s, like
Was it the Sherlock Holmes? Kind
yeah,
of
so it was like a Sherlock Holmes kind of setup, and they had like a dead body, and they're in like the coroner's office or whatever, and one guy's like, "All right, duster for Prince," and the other guy's like, "What does that mean?" And then he goes, "The Prince is coming over. I want her to be clean for it."
That's pretty good. It's not bad.
so fucking stupid.
God damn.
But this was like fucking. It was in like season 20 something.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
can see like
so
the
it was,
level
like,
of joke writing evolving
yeah.
in The Simpsons, like whatever. Like it used to
Yeah.
be based in story or whatever. Now it's just like they'll take a wild. Actually, no, that's not even true. Because like some
And
like
then it
Treehouse of Horrors, they could fucking
Yeah,
really
and
like take
there was
swings.
another one in that episode. There was like Scotland Yard, like our catchphrase is like, "Well, all right then." Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? Oh yeah. So Dark Twisted Fantasy. I fuck with Dark Twisted Fantasy because at the time, everyone was like, especially nowadays, like you look back at the impact the albums had. Because during the day, like everyone goes by Grammys. Everybody wants, because Kanye's thing to this day is he still wants to win Album of the Year.
Yeah,
no, like
of course.
Outkast did it, Lauryn Hill did it, but other than that, no hip hop act has really done it, right? So
God, fucking still to this day.
yeah,
huh?
right. It's
No
crazy.
shit.
So he like Dark Twisted Fantasy won Rap Album of the Year. All the Lights won a song, best like group song.
Yeah,
But the album didn't get
Oh, it was
nominated.
best urban album.
Yeah,
as
but
they
it
say.
didn't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
nominated for
Right.
Album of the Year that year. Fucking Alison Krauss and Robert Plant won for like some shitty album that no one
For
cares
some
about
album that
now.
nobody's gonna fucking listen to.
No one
You hear
cares
me,
about
Robert
now, yeah.
Plant.
Yeah,
Fucking
Robert
if it
Plant
ain't.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want the way
yeah.
you move. Then I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah. So Kanye was pissed when it didn't get nominated. Like it just got snubbed. He's like, what the fuck? But this is you look at now. Like at the time, people were just especially like people I know and everyone's very minimalistic. Everybody wants to like not have. It's not about like the grandeur anymore. It's not about like the dope shit anymore. It's just about like, yeah, this is what I have. It's what I got. It's what
Right.
it is. You know, it's
Yeah.
not much, but it's all I got. Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Kanye with his approach to Dark Twisted Fantasy was to like make it a magnus opus, just like maximize everything, like turn it up to 11 on every song. You look
Right.
at like tracks now, like you listen to a Drake album, every song's like 2-3 minutes max, right?
It's
Yeah.
also subdued too, right? Like everything's kind of on this like weird low frequency and stuff, right? Like I kind of that I don't really get into. Like the songs that I'm hearing now that are like club bangers or stuff that are like, kind of like some of the newer cats. It's like on this, you know, like different frequencies. Somebody's trying to talk about, oh, it's like the 808. Like no, 808 drums have been around
Yeah.
for fucking years. You
And
know,
with Drake
it's like I don't
too,
know like exactly what it is, but like that entire, you know, like MOP was fucking like bust your shit up like anthems
Ante
or whatever.
up,
So
yeah.
that's when I'm thinking of like the club banger. I'm like, oh, we're gonna ante up right now,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, this is not what you're talking. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
And like Drake nowadays, well, what I have found with his last couple albums is like nothing stands out. It all just kind of sounds the same and
Well, a
bleeds
lot of it
together.
drums through because
and like
of that,
where
yeah.
like when, because I don't like dislike Drake. He used to be good. What is the album where it's his head and the clouds behind it? Like everything was the same. Nothing was the same. Yeah. That was like a fucking solid
Good
album
album,
when
yeah.
it came out. But now it's just like every single fucking track is
Yeah.
the same.
To me,
Like,
it's like
yeah.
I just every song's like 2-3 minutes. They just want to get the streams. That's all it's
Yeah,
about now.
yeah.
But like with Dark Twisted Fantasy, every song like the average length is like 6 minutes minimum. 6-minute songs, 7-minute songs. Even though a lot of it like it was just about getting everybody on. Like you look at like who the credits of like on this album. You got fucking Kanye. You got fucking all the producers, Jeff Basker, fucking Mike Dean, No ID, like all these dudes. And then you look at who's on the album, uncredited. You got fucking Elton John, Alicia Keys, fucking RZA, Jizza, Raekwon. Like I'm like, goddamn, like he got Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj. Everybody, Drake fucking helped out.
Is uncredited because he's writing?
Yeah, they
Same
just
with Pharoah Monch as well. Like,
he just didn't bother. He's like, fuck it. If they're like, you hear Alicia Keys' voice on like all of the lights and shit, and you're just like, is that Alicia Keys? Like, it was cool. And then it was cool because the lead up to the album was dope too. Because you guys remember he was doing Good Friday, where every Friday he would drop a track that wasn't going to be on the album. So he had like the Good Friday song. He had Christian Dior, Dem and Flo, Monster was one of them. So a lot of them didn't make the album, but he was just every Friday he would release a new song in prep for the album. And
like
some of those
YouTube
songs
and shit like that.
Just for YouTube.
That was pretty fucking. I mean, before its time, even at the time in 2010, right? I don't remember like.
It was like
high profile artists doing.
Yeah, he was doing dope shit like that, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like this is a A1 song he's dropping. And so the lead up to the album was just dope too. And you got to hear people that weren't really around, like Tiana Taylor. That was like her first like breakthrough album where she got to like be on songs, and you hear her a lot. But she's like uncredited, and then All of the Lights just has Elton John's vocals in there. And you're like, this is fucking Elton John, like on a Kanye album, like
fucking Def Jam
like
cutting checks all over town.
Oh, dude, $3 million. Yeah, you gotta fucking pay that shit out.
He will like fucking work with anyone who he respects. Like he doesn't like stick like within his own genre, and that's like the thing with so many Kanye West albums now. Like even with this album with like 808s and Heartbreak, you look back, you're like, well, this sounds the same as all this other shit I'm hearing now, but it's like at the time no one was doing this.
Yeah, no, you look at listen to guys now like The Weeknd and Drake and fucking Travis Scott, all these guys, they credit 808s and Heartbreak as like that album, because I remember when it dropped, everybody shit on that album. Like in our age group, everybody was like, yo, this is weak, this is
I'm
gay.
still
like,
saying like it's like it's not that it's if I would have known that 808s and Heartbreak was going to take hip hop into like this like new generation of where it is now, I don't want to say that if I had a time machine, if it's like go and stop Baby Hitler or stop 808s and Heartbreak.
I love that album.
That's it. That is a coin toss.
And
T-Pain was doing it. Like I mean, autotune was going to be around, but like I said, it's that low kind of frequency. Like you're taking like what. Like a classic hip hop banger to me, you know what I mean? Like East Coast sample based, you know what I mean? Solid drums and shit like that, like a classic DJ Premier beat or whatever, right? Is now like, you know what I mean? That was the time where like the next generation of hip hop fans were going like, no, it's not like what I look at as the golden standard of like what a hip hop beat should be is now what that is, right? And I'm like, what? No,
like Kanye changed that shit where he was just like, fuck it, let's, because he's one of the greatest producers of all time as well. So like he's doing shit that like taking sample, like the way he'd sample shit, like he's taking little bits of it and then just expanding it and adding his own shit to it. And it's like there's stories from like those sessions of him in Hawaii where like he just didn't sleep. Like he rented out 3 studios in the fucking studio like place. 24 hours a day. People would come and go. He would just take power naps, 90 minutes. He didn't sleep a full night. He would wake up, work on something, go to another room, work on something, pass out for 90 minutes, wake up again, do it again. And that was just the whole cycle of the whole album, right? So, like it's just crazy to think too. Like you look at like things he added in, like on Blame Game, which Blame Game is a great song about just like relationships and like, you know, like there's a line in there where it's like
the one where the girl's like that she does porn but she get less money if she's doing 3-ways and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's a fucking that was a dope line. That was
John Legend. So
my favorite line. I call you bitch for short.
You call me motherfucker for long. Yeah, it's a great song about just if you're in a relationship or a couple, like you go through these things. Like I've said horrible. Like I've been with my girl for over 15 years. I've said terrible shit to her. Where it's like
I've said terrible shit to your girl.
Yeah, of course, and I welcome it. If you see my girl walking down the street, call her a bitch. Go ahead. She can handle it. I welcome it. It's nice.
I think everyone should
do it. You see her, just spit on her.
You're trying to. At this time, man, 15 years in the game, it's hard to stay spicy.
What you gonna do? Yeah.
You're just trying to keep things interesting.
Like, hey, I think one of your comedian friends spit on me. I'm like, yeah, they'll do that.
You like that? You like that?
They'll do that. I'm like, if it was Robert Pang, maybe get a COVID test. Otherwise, you're good. See, that was racist and funny. Anyways.
It can be both.
Yeah, it
can be both.
No, like, Blame Game is one of those songs where it's like, just about a relationship, just breaking down. But there's a line in that song that I go back to all the time where it's like I'd rather argue with you than be with somebody else, and I'm like, God damn, dude, like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, hell yeah.
At this age now, I'm like, well, I'm pretty much in on this. Like,
Oh, totally.
Like, what am I gonna do here? You know?
Totally.
Yeah,
Do you have any idea the amount of work that it would take to get to a level of comfortability that you could call that next girl a bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
not gonna happen. Like,
Exactly.
the way I
Yeah,
treat my
the
girl.
work
Like,
you
people
put
say
in.
that. Like, I've had buddies tell me, like brown guys in 2021 go, hey man, maybe you should treat your girl a little better. I'm like, don't you ever tell me how to talk to my wife, you piece of shit. How dare you?
Yeah. How dare you?
Like, I
Now
get it.
fucking
When you're,
go spit on her.
yeah, like I
Fucking
get
go
it. When you're
spit on her
fucking
right
like
now.
fat skanks you just met, yeah, be nice to them.
Yeah.
But a woman who's like really guided you and made you who you are, don't call her a bitch.
She can take the piss out of
She
her a
can
little
take it.
bit.
Yeah,
she can
absolutely.
take it. She can
It
take
makes you
it.
stronger, you
Yeah, absolutely, right? And plus, I
Uh,
mean, you're acting tough now, but I guarantee you she says some crazy shit to you. When
Oh,
the
she
fucking
probably makes
goes
fun of me
to-
all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
maybe not. She probably just talked about how great
She
I am.
knows.
Yeah, no, you know what? I don't think she finds me funny. I'll be honest with you. I don't think she
Yeah.
thinks I'm funny.
That is
That's
that
the
is fucking
hardest
even
hit.
better
Yeah.
than her calling you an asshole
Yeah.
day in and day out.
Just her
because
not laughing
that
at
is just
anything
that.
you
Yeah,
say,
that
yeah.
gets you probably
No,
more
she's
than
been
anything.
to a couple of shows. Like, people always like, why don't you bring her to shows? I'm like, she doesn't like comedy. She's not funny. Like,
Yeah.
she's not gonna sit here and enjoy this. But
Right.
she's been to a few shows, and I'll be like, did you have fun? She's like, it was all right. I'm like, you had the best show right there, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You realize this is what I do. This is my passion.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And
this
you
is
wonder why
you're
I
a
call you a
fucking
bitch.
cunt.
Yeah.
You wonder why they call you bitch.
Too short, man. No, but that song is great because it's just about that relationship, just breaking down, not having a good go with it, and then Chris Rock comes on at the end, and it's
So
just
good.
one of the greatest samples of all time.
That-
Chris
So
Rock,
fucking good.
so funny, and he's basically it's like the chick is cheating on Kanye with Chris Rock, and she pocket dials Kanye, and he hears the whole conversation, and there's a line in there where she gives Chris Rock's character a watch. And he's like, "Oh shit, that piece that fucking fucking Twista had on in the sauce
Yeah.
with the bezel.
Yeah.
How'd you know?" And he's like, "Oh man, your pussy's so good.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn to get your pussy game so good?" And she's like, "Yeezy taught me."
Yeah.
Easy top me.
And he's like, "God, your pussy, I've had pussy like this, but not like this.
Yeah.
You done reupholstered the pussy.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn to reupholster the pussy like this?" It's like, Yeezy taught me. It's like, Yeezy taught you well.
I'm fucking other parts of the pussy
Yeah,
I didn't even been
I'm
to
fucking
before.
parts of the pussy. I didn't even know. I'm in new parts of Pussy Town. I didn't know this part of Pussy Town existed.
Easy top.
Yeah, Easy taught you well. That'd be so dope to like if my girl cheats on me and she pocket dials me, but she's putting me over. I wouldn't even be that mad.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Ruthless taught
Damn
me.
right. Damn right I taught you. Yeah.
It's like, who taught
Especially
you?
if it was fucking Chris Rock.
It's like,
you'd be
who taught you
fuck
how?
yeah.
Who taught you how to get a hot towel and wipe the dick off? It's like Ruthless taught me.
You get the hot towel treatment, dog?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah. It's like an Asian massage parlor up there.
And not just because of the underage Asian
No.
women.
I prefer going older. Like if I'm hitting up like Water Cube or some shit.
Yeah.
I prefer them a little older.
100%,
They
dude.
know what they're doing.
100%.
See, my favorite part about going to like fuck it, whatever. You know, my favorite
We're-
part about going to like a massage parlor or whatever is I always like that scene in Rush Hour 2 when Jackie Chan takes Chris Tucker to the thing and he's like,
Yep.
I'm gonna take her, I'm gonna take her, I'm gonna take her, I'm gonna take her too.
You don't jump in front of a black man at a buffet line?
So I always appreciated like going there, and then you could always tell which one of your buddies are like the biggest scumbags because at the end of it you prepay, but at the end of it you always got to settle up the extra shit you've done, right? So there's always like my buddies like, all right, thanks, Mary, whatever, bye.
Yeah.
Like she like walks off. Other buddy maybe gives him a 20 because he
Yep.
might have like done some foot shit, whatever.
Yep.
But then like there's always me, and I'm just like $60. I just $20 last time. All right, fuck it.
I mean, usually if you're bringing the crew in there, they give you a break, right?
Yeah,
But
like, you know how many jokes I gotta tell?
Yeah, exactly.
Pay for this now.
This is going to show up on the paper trail,
Yeah.
baby. Come on.
No, that's the thing. Like with Blame Game, it's a song about just like, you know, being in a relationship in 2021. I feel like it's so hard, man. Especially being in a long-term relationship.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of like people, I'm just like, how the fuck y'all stay together? Like I got even like you look at like in the 80s and 90s, I feel like it was much easier to like do extra shit.
Hell
because there was no paper trail. You know, if you wanted to have an affair, you had to really work at it. You had to be like, meet me here at this time and this day. It's like done.
Yeah, you had that. You have to be like, oh, I'm taking up extra shifts at the mill, kind of shit.
Yeah,
but nobody's calling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My husband works so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Nowadays,
can't track fucking phones.
No, now it's like the chat logs. Like, dude, legit. If I die prematurely, I've already told buddies, I'm like, whatever. If I OD or anything, find my phone, delete that shit, wipe it. Because you're gonna find my screenshots alone will fucking destroy you. People would be like, "Oh my god, I didn't know he was making fun of me like this."
Oh
you can't read that shit, but you gotta destroy it.
I do love how little you give a shit to just screenshot everyone's stories and shit. Like every time you send us one of those, I'm like, he's really just screenshotting everyone out here.
Oh no! And there was one guy last week.
Does it tell you when you screenshot stories? Because I do it.
Oh yeah.
It does.
I do that shit all the time.
If they ever ask, just like, "Oh, sorry, bro, fucking accidentally."
That was hilarious. I just wanted to show my friends.
But there was one guy last week was like, "Yo, who's all roasted my baby picture?"
Oh,
and then it's me just looking around. Like, I don't know, man. Wasn't me. That's fucked up, dude.
It was like fucking 95 people had sent it to other people.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. That poor guy, man. He don't deserve that. The guy does a lot. Y'all need to be nice.
Yeah, man. There's no, fuck that. I think that everything, the energy that you put out in the world is some kind of that you give back, and I think when you can't recognize when you're making people uncomfortable and you do comedy.
Oh my god!
Exactly. You just leave the fucking door open for yourself, and I think there's a lot of comics that kind of do that. Right? There's a difference, I think, between people that are really working hard at the craft and people that just want some friends on
it's rough. Because that's the thing. I never need the stage time or any of that shit. Because with my buddies and shit, I'm that guy. I'm on. I was at a wedding 2 weeks ago. Every night, it's give Ravi a microphone, just let him talk, and it's all right, cool.
How many nights are weddings in your culture?
Oh yeah.
How many? Do you go all week, or what are you talking about?
It's all week, yeah.
Damn.
2 weeks ago, I was just fucking getting fucked up every night.
Sick,
That's
man.
awesome.
No, that looked like fun, man.
All those fucking shots you were doing. Oh my god.
They're fun. I'm surprised I can still do that. That was an old party trick.
That is fucking crazy. For the listener, on your stories, how many was that? That was 10 shots of Crown Royal lined up. After drinking 10 ounces of fucking Crown Royal at 30 fucking years old,
that's how did you feel the day
instant
after?
diarrhea? No shit. Hey?
My tolerance is just really good. I've built up such a good tolerance.
Well, because I can drink, but that being said, when I'm looking at it like that, I'm, you know what I mean? I'm known as a fun guy. I can get in there and fucking knock them back, but when I go to that level, there's no fucking way, right?
Yeah.
So I would never say I'll drink with the best of them because I just saw the best of them drink and that was fucked up.
I'm like the Mick Foley of drinking.
The straight shots.
I'll be Terry Funk because I'll show up and take the chair hit, but I've got to get the fuck out of there.
Oh, straight, no chase either. It's just straight.
Because it's I can drink a lot over the night and stuff, but it's to do that many shots in a row, I would probably fall dead.
I would do enough stuff to keep myself level. You know?
Balance it out. Doing some little shit in between there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about the deception and relationship and shit.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs of all time, not just off the album, is Runaway. Now Runaway is a 9-minute song, right? And I remember the first time I saw it was a year after Kanye fucked up with Taylor Swift at the 2009 VMAs. He showed up in 2010. Nobody wanted him there. This guy's been in exile for a year. No one's heard from him. The guy's been making any news. Nothing. And Kanye, it wasn't the first time he did something off the wall. In fucking 2004 during Hurricane Katrina where he's
oh, we all remember.
George Bush doesn't care about white people.
Fucking Mike Myers.
I'm sorry, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And fucking Mike
George
Myers.
Bush gives a damn about
fucking Mike Myers standing next to him having to be like...
Poor Mike Myers, dude.
I'm just trying to promote Austin Powers right now. Give me a fucking break, bro.
That shit set Mike Myers back.
He's not even fucking American.
Yeah, Mike Myers just looked at him and was just all right. And he's like, now more than ever, we need your donations. Please give whatever you can. Party on, rock on. And then it goes to Kanye, and Kanye was probably just supposed to say yeah, exactly. We need to help our people. But Kanye's like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. And it's what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
Nothing has prepared me for this.
You know what's funny? Okay, so what's the light song on this album?
All the Lights.
All the Lights. When I'm listening to that song, I'm like, okay, this is going to be about the black person's experience with police in America. all the lights, and then the first verse is just about him smacking his wife and getting a fucking restraining order.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, bro,
Like,
you can't talk about I'm like, this is about.
I want to talk about the concert.
Personal responsibility has to play a factor at this point. Like, this isn't the black person's experience with police in America. This is just you beating the shit out of your girl. I'm like, Jackie, I don't know if I can get down with this.
Yeah. Now that's one of the greatest lines of all time because we all been there. Let's not act like we ain't been there. So he goes.
I almost got stabbed by a girl and I didn't knock her out, but that would have been a way cooler story.
So he goes. I hold my head. Oh no. So he goes. So the line starts. He's like, all the lights, whatever, and then he starts going. He's like, he goes. I smacked my girl. She called the feds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Okay, sure,
A little
sure.
dramatic. Don't call the feds.
I mean, come on, honey. I thought we were in love.
What did she say? Like, you know, that's what he didn't talk about that. And then the MJ line of that song,
MJ
of course.
gone.
MJ gone. And when we were at the concert, it was very funny because it was 2010. You could say the N-word as much as you want back then.
Those were the days.
I'm at the concert at Rogers Arena. And
Bring it back.
dude, he played. I'm gonna get canceled. Anyways,
Don't worry, not a lot of people watch this
yeah, it's
podcast.
fine. Oh, yeah, no, I'll promote it. It'll be good. So I go. My fans are fucking retards, though. They're down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yay.
We could use a push. We need that. We need that kind of bump.
Fine, yeah. They're a ruthless bump. So at the concert, he kept restarting the song because he was like, "There's not enough lights. I need all of the lights, right?" And I guess it was like a bit he does, right? But the problem was the entire crowd is all white people, right? And so like every time like MJ gone, all right, and we're dead, and like he's like, "Hey y'all, so this is like a thing I do usually. Like, yeah, I want all the lights on." But like, can y'all please stop saying the N-word? Like, he really said it, and people didn't care. Like, no. That was like a big. Did you guys watch the Woodstock '99 documentary?
No, I
haven't yet. Where is it?
Watch.
You
I'll
downloaded
find you a
everything.
link.
Yeah,
I'll find you a link.
Yeah, because I haven't been able to find
God damn,
it.
it's incredible. Because I remember Woodstock '99. I remember the stories and all that shit.
Dude, it was massive. Like that was. I mean, I'm 9 years old, right? That being like the biggest, like the music event, like the first music event that I was ever like, oh fuck, like fuck. 70s and shit. Like this is the one that I wanted to go to. You know.
I remember like 'cause that time it was fucking
Korn,
DMX,
Limp Bizkit,
Limp Bizkit,
ICP, fucking
Moby.
yeah, man.
But like everyone was on this show, and I remember like I had the black box back in the day, right? With the stolen cable. So I remember watching it on pay-per-view, and it was fucking crazy. Like I'm like, yo. But the documentary looks at like just the out, like it was rough apparently. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah. Apparently like sexual assault and like a lot of angry white dudes, a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, but there's
there,
that video that like resurfaced after DMX died of him doing like fucking all his hits at the time.
Yeah.
And the crowd is just like 98% white, and they're all just saying it like it's like and like there's and now they make
wanna try.
No, but
wanna die.
Yeah, like
wonder why.
The greatest moment of that song of fucking what the fuck? Why am I blanking here?
Rough Riders Anthem.
Rough Riders Anthem is in Down to Earth, the Chris Rock movie, where Chris Rock becomes the white dude, Charles Wellington III.
Such an underrated
and he's in the pizza
movie,
place.
man.
He's like, stop, drop, shut him down, open up shop. Whoa, and
like
he's
a Busta Rhymes looking
and
motherfucker
it's
punches
like
him in the
going
face.
Him looking like a fucking the diabetes guy, Wilford Brimley looking guy. And, he's like, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He gets knocked out right in the pizza place. God damn, what a great scene.
Dude looks just like Busta Rhymes, man.
Yeah, the problem with the documentary though is like trying to make it all like 2021 gay, and they're like, it's just like some like cuck black dude, and he's like, well, I don't know how those people felt comfortable saying it, you know, like it wouldn't have been cool to say. I'm like, of course it was back then, man. Like, what are you talking
You're
about?
taking out you're taking away from the fact that this was 1999.
Exactly.
Do you have
99 is
any
in the
idea
title.
the amount of wild shit that was coming out of children's mouths that was just regular?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
People
that was
saying
just
a lot more wild shit.
Oh yeah,
at the
and
end of
Dark
it.
Side of the 90s.
man.
All the episodes are on YouTube. Dark Side of the 90s. Vice produces it. It's fucking awesome.
Dude, I went. Yeah, we were talking about the first like a little bit. I ran through like the first few episodes of that shit. Maury or fucking Jerry Springer was on there like that. They were doing that so
But
well.
I don't look at it like that because like to me the 90s is still the greatest.
It wasn't the
decade
wildest
ever.
shit. Yeah, exactly. If you could understand, like people just don't understand fucking growth, right? Same thing with Kanye. I mean, okay, so if you're gonna look at like like the first albums and shit to now, right? Like there's growth as an artist there, but like he's also like grown as like mentally unstable and you know what I mean, probably like an alcoholic and like all this fucking crazy shit or whatever, right? So like I mean the environment and everything is going to change as well as like the output of what's coming out of it, right? So same thing now. You have the environment. I wish that kids were as encouraged to be or do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. When I was a kid, that would be cool ideally. But you know what's not? You know what makes me fucking like cool and stronger is that I wasn't encouraged to do and be the person I wanted to be, and I did it anyway. And there was a little bit of fuck you there. You know what I mean? So like, there's for better or worse, right? There's a lot of things that you can't say. But for any time that like that old documentary shit goes back and you're trying to like criticize like the things of the past, right? Like you can't say like you're just putting shame on something that that you can't really speak on because crowds are fucked up, right? And when you're in a fucking crowd of people, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, people go back to early America, go back to fucking, any battlefield in Rome or any fucking, across the way, like.
Yeah, you're not telling me that in ancient Rome, motherfuckers weren't dropping a couple of N-bombs here and there.
Get the fuck out of here,
Watch
man.
the Ridley Scott director's cut of Gladiator, man. Russell Crowe's dropping some N-bombs.
When my Nono found out about True Romance and like the Moors conquering Africa, remember that scene where he has with fucking with Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
Yeah. You grow up around so much fucking racist hatred, like you even get to see, like, I bet your grandparents said some wild shit, and because Ravi, you say some wild shit.
I said some wild shit before I got here.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, though, you understand like the shit that they said, and you're like, oh, now it needs to be like adjusted for the times.
Yeah, of course. Like I never use any of these. Like I know I'm not like people see me in real, like when people meet me in real life because they see me on podcasts and shit, and I'm saying wild shit.
Yeah.
It's just a character. Like that's why I do the Ruthless Ravi Khanna. People are like, what's up with the Ruthless? Is that just like, what's that? I'm like, well, it is ruthless, but it's just I go by that so that people can differentiate. They're like, hey, Ruthless Ravi Khanna is different from like regular Ravi Khanna. Like I do like this all the. I mean, I kind of am now.
But that Ruthless gives you the fucking kind of gives you license to go up and be that dude.
Yeah,
you know
I think that's what I like. I get pissed off when I just get introduced to shows as Ravi Khanna. I'm like, don't do that.
That pissed me off. That happened. Johnny did that to you on Wednesday. I was like, Ruthless, man.
You know me. We talk every day.
Yeah, dude.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it is nice to have that distinction though, so people know that like that's you on stage versus like you just like regular in person.
The issue right now I'm having is that I'm kind of like getting to that Ric Flair spot where it's hard to differentiate now. It's just the same guy.
Yeah.
I can't turn it off now. It's rough. It's
You're
horrible.
still a nature boy with a half gram leg. Woo!
Oh, dude, there's a very upsetting episode of Wife Swap with Ric Flair on one side and Roddy Piper on the other side.
No,
and and Roddy Piper's
way.
lived in Oregon for like the last 60 years with his wife, who he's been with since like 81.
Yeah.
And so, but Ric Flair has had like 5 different wives, and he's living a fucking lavish lifestyle. So they swap places, and Flair goes to fucking Oregon to live for like a week, and Roddy Piper goes to North Carolina, and like. Piper's used to like just very like a private lifestyle, so same as Piper's wife. Ric Flair, like they're supposed to go to dinner, just a regular go to Applebee's, whatever the fuck, some shitty restaurant. And Flair looks at at Piper's wife. He's like, "Well, you're wearing that?" And he's like, "She's like, yes. Why? We're going to dinner." And he's like, "Oh no, you got no jewelry on." He takes her to the jewelry store, and drops like 20K. Then he goes to the bar and he's buying everybody drinks. Everyone's coming up to him, going like, "Hey, nature boy, I love you." And he's like, "Yeah, another round on me." And they're like to Flair, like, "You don't got to do this." And he's like, "Of course I do. I'm the champ." He's like, "Rick, you haven't been champ since 96. What are you doing?" It's done.
16 time, but like
It's
save
over.
your money. Right?
I've met him in real life, and he can't turn it off.
No
like,
shit.
Ric Flair all the time.
That is
I'm
fucking
like,
wild.
I saw him like outside, like he was outside a hotel, and I'm like, "Hey, Rick, I'm like, thank you so much. Like, you're a huge influence.
You're
on
one of the
me.
best of all
Not
time.
just your wrestling, but your promos, everything, the way you carry. So I want to thank you. You made me kind of who I am."
Yeah.
And he just couldn't turn up. He's like, "Woo!" I'm like, I'm just trying to have like a heart to heart with the guy.
Rick, you don't gotta woo me,
Yeah,
man.
like,
I'm right here.
Do it. I'm like, "Oh, you can turn it." And he's just like, "Oh, the nature boy." I'm like, "Oh,
He starts
Rick."
strutting and
Yeah,
shit.
I'm like, all right. Just elbow dropped his jacket. I'm like, all right. Best luck to you. It's sad. Like that's the thing where you become like. That's the one thing where I don't want to be is like you don't want to become the caricature, you know, like where you're just like.
Well, like I mean, like Dice or fucking even, I bet even Kanye probably has a piece of that. You know what I mean? Like like once you become, you know what I mean, like bigger than,
especially when
like
you
the
get
persona
to
becomes bigger than the person and shit. Like you almost like, I would imagine you almost have to latch onto that. Like you built something, so now like people expect that of you.
It's like Venom, you know, like you get the symbiote on you, and you're oh, this feels so much better. It's like being in a hot tub as opposed to a cold pool, you know. Like regular Ravi Khanna, I'm in a cold pool. I don't like that. Ruthless Ravi Khanna, living that hot tub life. Got some swingers in there. We're having a good time.
Dicks out, tropical beverage.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, man. There's umbrellas and drinks and shit, man. We're doing good.
When the character gets all this praise and like the regular you is just like living a regular life, it's natural to like gravitate towards the character that gets like so much like praise and adulation. You're like, well, I'm just gonna do this all the fucking time.
Yeah, see, I feel like I should be telling like a psychiatrist this, but I feel like it's so much better just going on podcasts and talking.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like therapy.
Literally, it's like, yeah, this is a lot nicer, you know.
Yeah.
So Runaway. That's the thing with Runaway is that 9 minutes this song, and there's so he showed up at the 2010 VMAs. No one knew what he was gonna do. No one knew if he was gonna apologize or what his deal was. Literally, he starts off on the fucking keyboard. It's just him, white background, white floor, and he's just wearing this red fucking leather outfit like Eddie Murphy and fucking Delirious, and he just goes, he's playing that fucking the keyboard, and it's like that piano, that dun dun, and it's so haunting, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And he does that for about 30 seconds, and then the beat drops, and then it's Rick James sample just going like, and I wanna show y'all how you look like beautiful stars tonight, and then fucking Kanye starts, and the first line of that song where he's just like, it was one of those songs where very rarely nowadays, especially, you hear a song where you're like, oh, and it just hits you so deep. Yeah. There's that line in there where the first line of the song, he's like, look at you, and I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my shit just way too long. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. So I think it's time for us to have a toast. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Let's have a toast for the assholes. Let's have a toast for the scumbags. Every one of them that I know. Let's have a toast for the jerk-offs that'll never take work off. Baby, I got a plan. Run away fast as you can. And I'm like, I hope my girl don't hear this song. Dude, it's like,
it's so,
to this day, I hear that song and I'm
nobody's seen him in a year. Nobody's seen him in a year. He made an ass of himself.
Yeah.
He comes back and does that
the
song.
President, the active president. Him an asshole. Like, God, and like the coolest president too. Like,
like the guy, you know, like the guy that Kanye was championing that entire time was like, you know what, man, this guy can go fuck himself.
Kind of an asshole, dude. Like, I'm like, Jay Leno, you got Jay Leno calling you a bitch. Like, you bringing up your dead mom.
Jay Leno asked, what would your mom think about this?
And Jay Leno's a huge piece of shit. And he's like, me and Mavis were talking about your piece of shit.
He's getting fucking roasted by Jay Leno.
I'm like, no. That line just fucking hit me so deep when I first heard it. And I'm like, God damn, dude. There's a line in that song, too, where at the time I was like 21 when the song came out, 2021 around there. And there's a line in the song where he's talking and he goes, so he does the whole thing like run away fast as you can. And he's like, he just goes like, I got some issues. I sent this bitch a picture of my dick. And he goes, I don't know what it is with females, but I'm not too good at that shit. I could have me a good girl, but still be addicted to the hood rats. And at that time, to this day, still addicted to the hood rats, man.
You ain't alone there, buddy.
It's wrong. Dude, how do you, like, and a lot of it at the time, 2010, like, he's talking about a lot of shit that today would be classified as, like, toxic masculinity, right? And it's like, how do you outgrow these patterns? It's shit that I struggle with today where I'm like, how do you, this was off, I think it was on the same album, actually, where he goes, like, how he stayed faithful in a room full of hoes. Must be the pharaohs he in tune with the soul. Damn, dude. Like, it's like, how do you do it? And people ask me, like, how have you been in a relationship for so long? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, because I fuck up a lot.
Well, I mean, that's the reason why I'm not. Like, I've fucked up a lot. And there's the the trail of bodies or whatever is there to prove it. But you're absolutely right when you say like when you say like toxic masculinity and like all that stuff. Now there's so many things for people to be afraid of, for their like behavior or identity to maybe be exposed, that they're not actually in a place that they can deal with real fucking things that everybody deals with, right? But like according to like, I think it's going to be interesting in a few years or whatever, because this toxic masculinity is being pushed down when all it is just like urges and shit that you need to react to. And, like,
it's vices.
I mean, it's vices for sure, right?
Yeah.
They say like like it's not you know, like who you are as a person. It's like your habits, right? Like your habits will determine who you are as a person, like down the road. You know what I mean, right? Like if you want to set yourself up for success, you better have you know, habits built into that will make you that successful person, right? If your habit is like smoking weed earlier in the morning, it's going to be very hard. You're not going to get sponsored by Manscaped until you're 31.
Yeah.
You know,
Congrats, by the way. That Manscaped money is sweet.
Oh, buddy.
And dude, they send you everything.
It's supposed to get here Monday.
And then if anything goes wrong with it, just message them like, okay, we'll send it to you. And then the money just comes in, and it's like, all right, cool.
Hell yeah.
So dope. Yeah, they're the best.
We're pretty stoked about it.
We're waiting for that. Yeah, but like it's kind of interesting now is where like a lot of, I don't think that it's the case, but like personally, but a lot of people that talk, especially like younger comedians, you know, they're on stage like, oh, guys can't say anything right now. So if that's like in the zeitgeist, or if that's like in the back of men's mind or the front of fucking men's mind, right on Front Street, is that you can't you know, exhibit any kind of behavior that might be deemed toxic, then what that does is that gets pushed to the back burner. And I don't know about you, but when I'm alone and nobody knows my location, then that's when the most toxic shit happens.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? Like, you know, it's the people that you know, like, that you know where they're at. It's the artists and the, you know, people, musicians or shit. Like, oh, yeah, I'm not worried about those people because their name's on a poster. I know where they're at that time.
Yeah.
It's when I don't have anything booked. And you are kind of like you have to kind of like operate on the, you know what I mean, on a different level or whatever, right? When you can't just like, you know, openly deal with shit that you're actually going through, right? Because in public it might be viewed as like, oh, this guy's fucking toxic because he's a piece of shit, right? So then you hide that behavior, and then it becomes worse, right? And then so it's basically the same thing, but like flipped over on the.
I think the best way to do it is that, like with me, because I've said some wild shit. Like there's so much footage of me just saying crazy shit through the last like 5 years. Like there's like over 1,000 hours of me just talking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like the reason I haven't gotten in trouble is because I've stayed consistent from the beginning. Like I've said, it's not like I was super clean and then just got weird and then started being super clean again. No,
I think I went through some shit 3 years ago, and you could see this. You could see the turn.
Like I've been a piece of shit from Jump Street. Like it's like very easy to see. It's like he's a nice guy, but he's a fucking weirdo. He just says weird shit. Runaway is one of those tracks where it's just. It's so toxic, but at the same time, because of that haunting piano, and Jack, you talked about it with the Runaway film, is the video is just beautiful with the ballerinas and like this man's talking about like living a lavish lifestyle, especially Pusha T's verse. Like Pusha T comes in, he's like, "You can't blame a man never seen Versace sofas," and it's like, what the fuck?
It's true.
Jesus.
Like the lines.
He's got leather interior in every verse.
Yeah, the lines on this, like there's so many just quote Kanye as a comic, like. If he wasn't a rapper or musician or a fashion icon, the guy would totally have been a stand-up comedian.
Just like a wild
so
stand-up
fucking
comedian.
funny, dude. Like there's, like you see him on interview. I don't know if you guys watched the Drink Champs interview he just did last week with.
He was talking only what Quali fucking has reposted. He was talking some shit.
Yeah, he went after everybody. He's like, signing Big Sean was the biggest mistake I've ever made. He's like, I took Soulja Boy off my album because the verse was trash. And he's going after. He's like, I never liked Talib Kweli as a rapper. Talib put him on, like.
Dude, Talib, did you see his response? To that? Like Talib puts out like a clip from a clip from a documentary from like years and years ago where Kanye is like, you know, Kweli was the person who taught me the most about being an artist.
Sure, he probably did.
It just like keeps going back to that or whatever.
Get 'Em High is a classic song.
I mean, that's probably my favorite Kanye song. I think, like, right off the top, like that or Gorilla Monsoon rap, like for sure. Like
he goes, so like the whole like Kanye was just going after everybody. But like the lines in this song, like even you go back to like the first track, Dark Fantasy, one of my favorite hip hop lines of all time. He's like, "Too many Urkels on your team, that's why your wins low."
Damn,
the first time I heard that, I was like, "Ooh!"
I heard that today, and I was like, "Okay, here we go. There's some real rap on here."
But yeah, like Runaway is just about being a piece of shit, being a toxic male, and just kind of getting away with it because at that time in 2010, no one's holding each other accountable. Everyone's just like, "Yeah, fuck it, that's just the way he is." You know, it's
It was right, but like eccentric people have been known to do eccentric shit, which is like kind of I mean, be cool about it. Like Prince, like I mean, like, you know what I mean, like prime example right there. I don't think like you know, he did some wild shit for a period of 30 years. I don't think anybody's coming out of the woodwork to be like, fuck that guy. You know, R. Kelly on the other hand, different story or whatever, right? But like I mean, but it's there's like a level that I think once you get to like a certain status, like that you can get away with on some like Mick Jagger shit or whatever, right? But
I think it's
like
coming
with
back.
him,
I think like what I see now is that it's coming back the other way because the guys like Chappelle just saying shit and it's like,
Yeah.
All right, well, nothing happened to him. Like, he's just like, well, same with Kanye. Like, Kanye having, at the Donda drop, he had Marilyn Manson and fucking DaBaby there.
Yeah.
Who were supposedly canceled, but canceled from what? Like, they're here. Yeah, same with Chappelle. Like, it was 2 weeks of just, like, real hard-hitting, like, oh, cancel this man. And then after this, they realize they can't do anything, so they're like, oh, well, we can't do it. So I think now it's going back the other way, where it's like, the only way you can really get fucked over nowadays is if you, like, sexually assault or harass or whatever.
Yeah.
Which you should, by all means.
And I think that's how it was. It was like a slingshot effect, because for so long, like, you could just do or say anything or get away with it. And then Me Too happened, and then it went so hard in the other direction, too hard in the other direction. Yeah. And now I think it's starting to, like, settle out, where it's like, okay, if you fucking, like, rape or, like, sexually assault someone, you should be canceled. But if you say something weird, then who gives a fuck? Or if you say something that a certain group of people deems offensive, but you're doing a fucking comedy special, then that doesn't warrant being canceled. And I think now we're kind of slowly getting back to, like, an equilibrium where it's like certain things should certainly be called out, but you shouldn't, not as much as it has been for the last, like, fucking 5 years.
Hopefully there's enough people, just rational people being like, hey, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I'm a fucking adult, right? Like, when people ask me, like, what do you think about, like, Chappelle's new special? I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Give a shit. Yeah,
exactly. It was like, it was not my favorite special because it wasn't not as funny as I would like it to be.
You remember Live at Fillmore?
Woo! That Fillmore special of Chappelle, that was when he was at his peak of Chappelle show. So many great bits off that, like, and he's got the fucking weird mustache.
Man.
That bit where he's on the bus and the guy's jacking off on the bus. He's like, "Put your goddamn cock away." I quote that daily. Like, it's such a classic. Killing them softly.
Like Matrix.
Yeah, dude. So, like, I've had so much. Like, there was one night where I was on Reddit, and this was like in 2016, 2015 probably. And there was a Reddit thing where it's like, hey, Dave Chappelle might be at the Neptune Theater in Seattle tonight. Not guaranteed, but there's rumors. If you can get out there, they're letting the first 150 people in or whatever the fuck it was.
Crazy.
So I'm like to my girl, I'm like, hey, you want to drive to Seattle and maybe see Dave Chappelle? She's like, what if he's not there? I'm like, then we'll just watch some random comedy show, I guess. She's like, yeah, whatever, let's go. So we drive down to Seattle, and Chappelle hasn't been doing shows at all. Like, he's like reclusive. Fucking I show up, and then, like, there's literally 150 people there. We've been waiting like 3 hours. We get in, I had dope seats, and it's a small theater, and fucking the guy comes out, the MC, and he's just, there's no opener, nothing. There was a DJ. And so I'm like, okay, maybe there might be Chappelle. Who knows? The guy comes out. He's just like, hey, sometimes we get to do cool shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle. And Dave Chappelle comes out, and this is like 2015, and just fucking went off for 3 hours.
That is wild.
And like, it was when he did the little, I love that bit where Lil Wayne, about how, like, Lil Wayne, I like Lil Wayne because he just doesn't talk about anything. Like, he's like, real G's move in silence like lasagna. He's just saying random shit. He's like, this man says he beats the pussy up. That bit. I'm like, dude, I saw that live, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude.
Crazy.
Goddamn, yeah.
And to give him credit though for that line, like, I always saw the Wayne was fucking, like, I was just like, whatever. Like, I know Cash Money, and like, I know this history and shit like that, but Wayne just never really did it for me. But then, like, for whatever reason, that line just clicked into my head, and I was like, that man's a genius.
No, that, and then I got 3 kids. They all 3. I love this man. Yeah. I always say that.
And he's a skateboarder. Like, he started skateboarding since he's like, in the past years, like, Lil Wayne's a better skateboarder than me, and I can't say shit. I can't take that away from him. So shout out to Lil Wayne.
That's I always say that. If Lil Wayne died in 2008 after Carter 3, he'd be up there with, like, and he is a great rapper. He's one of the greatest ever. It's true. Yeah. But if he had died at that time, right after Carter 3 drop, when he had fucking like all the tracks he had at that time, he would have gone down as like Tupac, Biggie level.
Right after a Millie, like
oh dude, a Millie was just holy shit.
So huge.
What a track. Even just all like, man, like the mixtape shit he had, like Man, I Miss My Dogs, and like all that high school shit. Like I'm like, goddamn, Lil Wayne's the best.
Yeah, he's such like a character too. When he was in jail, didn't he officiate a gay wedding? Yeah.
That's the best thing about that man. Right? I mean, he also kissed fucking, I forget, fucking baby, fucking
Birdman, yeah.
I was gonna call him Big Bird. Yeah. So kiss Big Bird on the mouth.
Yeah, they were doing some weird shit out there in New Orleans. Yeah, there's a video. I love this.
But I hope he got his money though, because I think Birdman withheld a lot of cash money royalties.
He's doing all right.
I think he's just.
He's probably still making off of like Drake and Nicki Minaj and all that shit.
Well, he was one of the ones who Kanye cut his verse from Donda, and so him and Kanye were beefing for a bit there too. Yeah.
one of my favorite Lil Wayne interviews is he's like doing some random interview, and he's got a glass of lean, like this is like and he knocks it over.
Styrofoam.
He knocks it over, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like the slowest reaction.
No.
Dude, lean was. You ever do lean?
Hell yeah, man! That shit fucking stupid.
Like I've done a lot of drugs in my day.
Yep.
Lean was one of those ones where I'm like, holy shit, I ain't fucking with this promethazine.
I like
I'm
hallucinogens or like uppers or weed or booze.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like my thing. So anytime like that shit, it was not for me. Same thing with like prescription pills and like Xannies and all that shit.
They won't give me shit anymore. Like when I don't know what it said on my dental chart, but when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, they wouldn't give me anything. Because they're just like, we can't. And I'm like, what does it say about me? Like, what are you doing?
My mom works at a hospital, and my medical chart is like, it's weird because when I was a kid, there was a history of me like requesting drugs, and then I went through some shit, and there's like a big history of me refusing drugs.
Yeah.
Because crazy shit happened or whatever. So like after surgery, I'm like, I don't want anything and stuff like that. But I was like really fucked up. They're like, no, you're taking stuff. Like it was really weird. But like so I looked at my chart, and there was just so like in a period of like 4 years, I went from like requesting to refusing to requesting again.
I've never had like bad, like the only things I won't, like I've never done like needle drugs, but like everything else pretty much it's like I've smoked meth, I've smoked fucking, I don't know why I'm saying this.
I was gonna say
it was good. No, but I didn't know. I like
dude, look who you're talking to, buddy. You're in good company.
Yeah, I know. I'm in good company.
Other than needle drugs, yeah. Like I just grew up around.
I just don't like
shit.
needles. Like even getting the
Anything with a
vaccine,
needle,
I'm
seems
like
too much.
Yeah, well, I got the vaccine, and I'm like, I guess I can do this. It's not that bad.
Out of all the shit you had said, if you had just outed yourself for not being vaxxed, that would have been the most controversial.
He does meth. I did meth once, and I didn't know, and then my brain just started popping. I'm like, what is this? And it's like meth. I'm like, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
dude, I have like the gay community needs to get their shit together because I was living on Davie Street, and my neighbor was partying, and like. It was funny because if you come home and like I was partying, then you'd hear like Annie Up and like some MOP coming from my thing. And if my music's off and I come home, my neighbor's partying, it's like Dancing Queen, right?
Yeah,
so like,
ABBA. You know what's so funny? I was thinking ABBA in my head.
100%. Exactly.
It was the gayest possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I come home one night, no bullshit, Dancing Queen is on. And I'm like, oh, Jonathan's partying over here. That's awesome because like they go wild over there. So I get over, I party, go over and saying hi. What's happening? And there's a plate of drugs going around, and one guy's like, do you like coke? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, there's some stuff over there for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I look at it, and I'm like, that's not cocaine. And he was like, yeah, but it's like the same thing. Yeah. And I'm like, no, because like the only like that's not your imagination. Like there's a thing. It's totally fucking different. Yeah. And then they call it like a party drug, and it's like Tita or whatever. And I'm like, guys, this is methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Like this is not like a cool gay party drug. Like, this is just in the community. Like you guys should like find other party drugs because this is fucking not good.
Just do coke.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Pills
here?
are the only thing where I like really felt like I don't like losing the control.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing mushrooms and like Dark Twisted Fantasy is a great album to listen to on mushrooms. Like if you take a heroic dose, do like 6 grams.
Yeah.
And listen to the album start to finish. Put your AirPods in, whatever the fuck, headphones. Listen to the album start to finish. You'll go on that journey. Like
no shit. Yeah.
I like doing it every like year and a half ish. It's great because it's like a 2-hour album. So it's a perfect amount of time.
Well, it's nice. I've been doing a bunch of mushrooms lately, but I could see that. I could see myself like kind of getting into it and slipping away. I'm a big Aesop Rock fan, so like I want something like big beats and like kind of lyrics that I might not have gotten the first time around, right? Like I want to crack the code when I'm on mushrooms and you crack those lyrical codes. You're like, oh
totally,
fuck,
yeah.
Those big moment. I mean, if it's a goosebump moment, then like that's the best part about doing the shows. You can't really judge anybody for anybody's musical choice or whatever because the like music hits everybody so fucking deeply in whatever way. You know what I mean? So like if anything gave you the goosebumps, and I want to know like I'm like, well, where was it? Like where am I gonna find it? Yeah, because I got fucking stacks of records and stacks of CDs and shit like that, and all full of that stuff that made the hair stand on end at that point, right? So like, you know what I mean? You just keep chasing that fucking moment. Right?
There's like with this album too, like you look at like every track, and every track is just long, but there's a reason for it to be there. Like Hell of a Life is a song people really don't talk about, but it's like just that like. You can tell he's like on a downward spiral. So you listen to Hell on a Life on mushrooms, it's just got like this hard hitting electric guitar, and it's just like taking you down. You feel like you're being pulled down to like a dark place.
And it was weird too for like a Kanye track that like I mean I know his production and stuff, but I wasn't expecting so much live guitar on this one. And like right off the top of the album, you're like I noticed right away. I'm like, there's a lot of it felt more like live instruments, and it did sample heavy, and I was like, I did not expect that from this album. By the end of it, it kind of like it really like mellowed out. I think it really like ran the gamut
Yeah. Oh yeah. It takes you
everything
on a
about it.
journey of
Yeah.
like. Just like Devil in a New Dress with Rick Ross. Like we talked about Rick Ross being on the album. So when he dropped Devil in a New Dress originally as a Good Friday track, and it was just 3 minutes for like 4 minutes long, and it's like, oh cool, that was cool. And then when you listen to the album version, it comes out, album drops, I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, cool, like it's going, it's doing its thing, and then it gets to that like real like middle of the song where it's just like the guitar, and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of going on.
Yep.
And then like a minute in, Rick Ross drops, and he's like looking at you, bitch, you give your ass a bone. Looking at my bitch, I bitch, you know. And I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like this is one of the greatest. And then one of my favorite lines of that song, he's like, all black tux, N-words choose lavender.
Yeah.
He's talking about his shoes. I was
that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I went to go get pizza, and I was actually listening to that. Like I remember where I was when I heard that, and for whatever reason, like when I was a kid, my dad lived out here, my mom lived back in the Coonies, so it was a 12-hour bus ride. So for whatever reason, like listening to so much music and headphones throughout my entire life, like 2 trips, that's like 24 hours on a bus every fucking year. Well, 2 times 48 hours a fucking year. So like if like a song like really hits, and I'm like, oh, I remember where I was when I heard that, and that line with the whatever it was right. I was right there when I heard it, and I was like, oh okay, okay, yeah.
Like that is that. Like I said it before, but it's like my favorite verse in hip hop, like guest feature. I love that feature. Like it's just like because it just hits you out of nowhere, and he just takes over the song, and it's dope. And then we talked about Nicki on Monster. Like Monster as a track is just a dope track because I think it's like talk about like the theme of like toxic masculinity and shit like that. Monster is one of those tracks where it's like we're all monsters in some way. Like we've all done some horrific shit.
Oh yeah.
That's like and we've all said some shit where it's like I probably shouldn't have said that about whatever or like whatever. But
there's some shit that I feel like I should call and apologize about.
Dude,
still,
like Billy Madison, where he's like, "Is this Danny McGrath?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like the same Danny McGrath that graduated in '85. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey man, my name's Billy Madison, and I was kind of mean to you at that time, and I just want to apologize. Kids can be cruel, and maybe we can grab a coffee and talk it over sometime." He's like, yeah, I'd like that. That'd be nice. He's like, all right, cool, man. So, yeah, you probably don't think about me at all, but, like, hey, it's cool, man. I'd love to get it together soon. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'd appreciate that. It's Buscemi. He's like, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, bye. And then it goes off, and he's like, all right, cool. Looks like a nice moment. Crosses his name off his kill list.
Puts the fucking lipstick on.
I feel
the shit.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I wasn't, like, I wouldn't use the word bully. But I was probably, by today's standards, I was probably a bully. But I wasn't like a Nelson Muntz bully.
No, totally.
I was like a cerebral bully where I'd make some fun. If I knew like something happened in your family, I'd bring it up and make fun of you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it was mean.
I think I did some of that. Like I did what I could to look out for people that I felt like needed the help or whatever. But I mean, but I also did my fair share of like picking and stuff like that.
Like, I was like a vigilante bully. Like I'd get news over MSN, and I'd be like, all right, I'll make fun of this guy tomorrow.
I think it was kind of fucked up too. I had older brothers, so like I would get fucked. The first time I walked into my high school, like I got fucked up just by my brother's friends. They gave me a wedgie, my fucking head smashed off a locker, and I went, oh fuck! And I was right next to a teacher, and the teacher's like, hey, Rancid, and I'm wearing like a Rancid shirt, so he's like, I got you, and like immediately my friends are like, is this fucking what high school is gonna be like? And immediately the principal just like knows who I am, and he walks away and shit, and I'm just like bleeding from my head, and I'm like, I guess this is what we're doing. So like. I think I might have passed a little bit of that down.
Yeah, like I think about that now where I'm like, but I run into people from high school now and they're like, oh, dude, it's so dope. You're doing stand-up.
Dude,
and, like,
totally.
all the shit that you said you were going to do, that's really cool, man. I love that. And then I'm like, dude, I might have made life really hard for that person at certain times. And then I'm just like, should I say something? Should I apologize? And I never do.
Oh no.
I'm just like, hey, thanks for the support. I hope to see you in the show soon.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the podcast. I listen to it all the time. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Maybe like they might pat themselves on the back. You know what I mean? For like giving you the chops that you have today.
I think so. Like they're like, they're like, how do you know Ravi Khanna? Like, he used to make fun of me in high school.
That's it. That story checks out. Fuck yeah.
Like
I wish I had that bully. I wish he was my bully.
I like definitely was not like a bully by any means.
Were you
but
like a mean girl?
I could be like a stone cold bitch.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all.
We came up with that Mean Girls too, like the Lindsay Lohan, and I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, there are like a few people where I still like feel badly when I think about it, and I've like brought it up to my friends who like I grew up with and I'm still friends with. I'm like, oh, like remember all that shit I said to what's her name? And they're like, yeah. Fuck yeah, that was all over Facebook. Everyone fucking saw that. And I was like, do you think I should like apologize? They're like, no, that would make it so much worse. Why would you bring it up now?
Exactly.
Dude, I used to do shit like I used to do the announcements. Like it used to be like a student council position, but then I did it in grade 10, and they just let me keep kind of doing it. Like, and I skipped. I shouldn't have been allowed to because I skipped so much back then.
Yeah.
So I'd show up at like 8:30 just to do the announcements, and then I would skip first block. And I'm an idiot because teachers would be like, "Why weren't you in my class this morning at first block?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wasn't here." They're like, "I heard you on the announcements." I'm like, "Yeah,
pre-recorded,
no,
yeah.
I pre-recorded." They play it. It's pre-recorded. They're like, "Well, that doesn't excuse you from being in my class." I'm like, I just don't see why I need to be here.
Yeah.
It's human resources. What am I
You heard
doing?
me great.
I've
You
done
heard me
my
crush
minutes,
this morning,
yeah,
right? You
yeah,
heard me
you
crush.
heard
Like,
me
I don't
crush.
need to learn how to make bread.
Did 5
No,
minutes
but
and
I
then
used to do
fucking
shit.
left.
I used to do shit like the following students have lice, and they'd be like, "No," it was just mean, and I'd be like, "Wang Zhao Cheng, that is all." To school like 1,100 people. That's the only guy. And they're like, "Yo, you gotta stop." But like, I'd be popping like the secretaries and shit, so I'd be like, "All right, it's fine." I'd just be mean shit. Like I'm like the Windermere girls soccer team lost 18-0. I'm like, fire the coach. What's going on? Like, I would just be, like,
totally.
it was mean. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but it was fun. Like I think at the end of the day, like people were just like, it's all in good fun, whatever.
Well,
But I
yeah,
think
right.
about
None
it
of that's
now, and
like
I'm
too hard because at the end of the day, I mean, hey, coach, you lost 18-0, man. Like,
yeah,
we should
no,
be
but,
talking
like,
about this.
I'm getting to a point now where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have like I have nephews and nieces. Like my nephew's hilarious, so I'm always like, oh man, I hope this kid just doesn't get bullied. So I'm always asking him like, hey, how's school? You got a lot of friends? He's like, yeah, I got like 5 friends. I like tell him what to do. I'm like, all right, cool.
Here you
man.
go.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
good.
You're running
Like,
shit. You're running shit.
And then he's like telling me a story about like going to school. Like he dressed up as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was just like making fun of him. I'm like, why are you going to Spider-Man, man? Spider-Man's not afraid of the dark. You think you're Spider-Man? He's like, well, maybe he is. And then I'm like, what happened? He's like, yeah, I had a good time, but I couldn't see because I was wearing my mask. So I slipped over a thing and I fell and I hurt my hand. And then I started crying and I'm like, oh, no, don't. Why don't you just cut that part out?
Yeah,
just tell the story up until you falling down.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And I'm like, you can't tell people you're crying. And he's like, oh, well, Spider-Man cries. I was like, you think Spider-Man cries? He's like, yes. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
Oh, man.
Like, what do you
Peter
do?
Parker might have cried before he got bit by a spider.
Dude,
You're not fucking
I gotta.
Spider-Man.
Kids need bullies. There's no bullies nowadays, man. Like they really, because during our time, they were really about that life of like anti-bullying and like.
Of course,
you know,
yeah,
like,
that was all around.
Be
But
a
like,
friend, be a star, all that shit. Like it really worked because now it's like kids don't bully anymore, man. Kids don't bully and kids don't do drugs. I always drive by my high
that's a damn
school.
shame.
Yeah, I drive by my high
kids
school
don't
and
do drugs,
there's no fucking kids in the smoke pit anymore.
what
Like,
is
the
it like?
smoke pit was the spot.
Where's counterculture? Where's the rebellious ones? Like, what are
Nothing.
they
Dude,
doing?
everyone's
Like,
just like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like no one talks. I'm like, this is weird, man. Like you kids are just
I think,
lame.
and like again, it's like the overcorrection. Where it's like, yeah, like bullies, like to the extreme. Like you shouldn't be fucking like beating the shit out of kids
yeah.
and all
yeah,
that shit.
totally. But if
But,
somebody
like, you
says
should
something fucking
absolutely-
ridiculous, you
if
should be able to
someone-
ridicule
if
them.
someone like has like an interesting facial flaw, then they should absolutely
Dude, there was this
take
kid.
note of that.
There was this kid. This is me. There was this kid, Josh Matthews, at my school, and he had a club foot. We used to fucking destroy this guy.
But it's like he's gonna fucking get that. Like you might as well fucking
Dude, I was
get
like,
it
how
from
are
a
you
young
not
age.
Yeah, I was like, how are you not
Yeah.
captain of the soccer team? No.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be losing 18-0 if
You
had a
gotta,
club
you
foot
gotta
out
like
there.
build that thick skin at that age. Otherwise, as an adult, you're just gonna be fucking useless.
Well, I mean,
like,
fucking
you're not gonna
like
be able to
Jesus Christ,
handle
it's crazy
anything.
that we're
Yeah.
we're discussing shit that was in a fucking George Carlin bit in the '90s. Like, you're fucking dumb, Timmy. Go home. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? When
Yeah.
that kid gets fired, that's gonna be the first time that he ever realized, you know, that anybody's ever told him that he's fucking
Exactly,
worthless,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, you gotta get that.
No,
from
I
the
see.
young
I
age.
see all the people I bullied, like but like made fun of or whatever. But I bullied them. But I can see the kids that I bullied nowadays, and they're all like accountants. They're all like married. They have a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I
Like, you're welcome.
You
yeah,
did that.
yeah. You.
Yeah.
I'm like Don Corleone.
Fuck yeah, man. You wouldn't have had a fucking chance if it wasn't for me.
Exactly. Like, hey, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
you realize what a loser you were
Yeah.
before.
Like, congrats on all your success. And it's funny too, because like my girl was like the sweet, like she was like the high school sweet, like she was super nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Always, like she's a psychologist, so she like would always ask people, hey, how's your home life? How's things going? Oh, you doing good? Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Your cat died. How's that going? With shit like that. I never cared. Like, I'm like, and so it's funny that, like, that's why people are always like, how the fuck are you guys together? Because she's, like, the opposite of you. Like,
Well,
she
that's what
doesn't
they
have,
say,
like,
right?
Yeah, and it's like, eh. Like,
Yeah.
they say opposites attract. I don't know. Like, I'm not. It's all right. Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
What else was on the album I want to go through?
I don't know, man. We're going over there. I'm gonna have a cigarette if we're gonna keep going because that's totally
We
fine.
can
Yeah,
take
smoke
a
break.
pause.
Let's
We can
smoke
take a
break.
pause. Yeah, let's pause.
Boom.
We'll be back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Hey. That was fun.
All that'll be cut.
Yeah, we were talking about. We were not talking shit during the break.
Yeah, no. A little inside baseball stays inside.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Fuck all that
Those
shit.
people.
Yeah, exactly. For real.
For real, yeah.
I don't fucking care. I really don't, man. Okay, so then let's get back to the Kanye here. What's the evolution of like you finding Kanye, just like enjoying hip hop and stuff like that, and then kind of making the decision to there's so many branches, like the umbrella is so like it varies. It goes so hard to, you know, like the underground shit or whatever that I like. We both meet in the middle with Outkast or whatever, and then you're over here. You know what I mean, right? So
to me, like I just came up at the same time Kanye was coming up. I felt so like when he was producing Jay-Z's album, I was like in grade 7, grade 6, and I'm like, okay, I fuck like H to the Izzo, This Can't Be Life, all that shit, like the Rockefeller Champions album where it was just him. They sampled "We Are the Champions" by Queen and Kanye's verse on that. I'm like, this guy's fucking dope. Like I love this guy.
Yeah.
And then just like the first time I saw Kanye, and I'm like, God, like I was like grade 9 probably when that song when he started doing like appearances on shit. So I remember seeing him on Def Poetry Jam, and he did All Falls Down before it was a track.
No shit.
Right, yeah.
It was him with like some. It's a dope track. It's like him with some.
one of my
Louis Vuitton.
favorites. I would love to see
It's
that.
great.
performance.
Well, yeah,
That's
so
yeah.
it's just
Fucking
him up there
great
acapella,
song.
and he shows up with like some Louis Vuitton bags.
Yeah.
And he just does the first.
Got the
verse of All
backpack
Falls
on and
Down.
shit?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
doing, and he's got like the blazer and the backpack, and he's just and like the pink polo, and he's just like. And he just does the opening verse where he's like, "I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches, Rollies and Fox, and throwing me crazy. Can't even pronounce nothing
Past that for
Stacey.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
like, who
good.
the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
Dope.
yeah.
And then it just like when the album so then he got into the accident because he was working on the album, drives home in this Lamborghini, fucking gets in the crazy accident, and then he drops through the wire. I think it was on YouTube. I was online somewhere.
Yeah.
I saw that video and I'm like,
I remember
this is a
seeing it
dope
on.
video.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing it on Much Music and thinking like not knowing anything like through the wire or whatever. Like I had no idea the context of like you know what I mean. Him being in the car wreck or having his fucking jaw wired shut or anything like that. I was just going from like Polaroid to Polaroid and the way that they did the video. I you know what I mean. Just that was when I'm like, oh, this is the kind of hip hop that I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
He changed that whole the way music sounded for like the next like 10 years. It was like just that. It was like that Nas line in "If I Rule the World," where he's like, put a platinum bitch on your CD. There you go with the fucking platinum record or whatever the fuck. But like Kanye was just taking those soul samples and speeding it up. Like All Falls Down, that's Lauryn Hill's like vocals that he took, right?
Yeah.
And then the music video, I remember seeing Through the Wire for me was first, where I was like, okay, this is dope. And then on Much Music, they had Kanye on one day, and he was premiering the Jesus Walks video. And I saw that Jesus Walks video, and I'm like, holy shit. And then that one line that stuck out with me from that song, because I wasn't religious, I didn't care about the Jesus connotation.
Yeah.
But where he goes, I'm not trying to say like the way I need Jesus, the way school need teachers, that's the way I need Jesus. The way Kathy Lee needed Regis, that's the way I need Jesus. So I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's insane. And then from there, the album dropped, and I just remember hearing Never Let Me Down with Jay-Z, and I'm like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And then Spaceship with that fucking Marvin Gaye sample.
Yep.
So good.
That fucking album, man, front to back.
His
dude,
first
is
3 albums,
amazing,
fucking
man.
College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation they're fucking undeniable.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
100%,
fucking-
absolutely.
About the same time I like graduated too. Like it was the same
Yeah.
year, so I'm like,
Me too, dude.
That was the biggest fucking
Stronger
album.
and all of that
Oh
stuff,
my
man.
God.
That shit bangs so fucking hard.
Actually, like the most successful.
Totally.
album.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally. Not the best. College Dropout is
College
by far
Dropout, I
the
think is
best.
good, but I still put Dark Twisted Fantasy over it.
No shit. Yeah,
Because
fair
I feel
enough.
like that was just like the maximum everything. Like there will never be like it was like the Avengers of hip hop. Like he had everybody on that album, and just it was the ultimate kind of like Kanye. The way he described it after the fact was like he's like, this is my back. Like you know how they have like backhanded compliments, right?
Yeah.
So motherfuckers will give you backhanded compliments.
Sure,
like,
of course.
oh, hey, you're funny for a brown guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, cool, thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's fine. But,
Yeah.
like, he was like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like a backhanded apology, where he was like, I'm gonna make something so dope that all of you are just like, well, fuck, like, yeah, he talks some shit, but he's so fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
At the end
no
of the day,
one
if it's
doing-
undeniable, it's undeniable.
It's undeniable, and that's
right?
the thing where we always say about like Comedy Ring too, where it's like me and Adrian will talk this about all the time, where it's like when we started, nobody wanted to fuck with us, man. Nobody would do the shows. No one would like we'd like reach out to like 60 people, and 5 would get back to us.
Yeah.
And it was obvious like the usual like Robert Penn because he'll just do anything.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of like randoms, and we're like, all right, well, fuck, we'll make do what we have.
Yeah, or a bunch of people like us that were like really just starting out, and you're one of the only people putting people on.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too. And
You
it
know
was
what I
like,
mean,
and
right?
then we went like our line was always like you go from undesirable to undeniable.
Yeah.
That's like what it where it's like that's what we kind of did. And
Fucking
like,
100%.
That's why.
Well,
I
dude,
like,
to where you're doing a spot on Wednesday, and comics are coming up to you going like, when the fuck are you coming back?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
You know what I mean?
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
you're mad at me.
Everyone
bro.
is like
You just wanna take a
hurting
couple months
so
off.
much.
You didn't
Yeah.
fucking the same guy that wasn't good enough for them before is
Yeah.
now fucking.
You caused probably
Yeah,
at
dude.
least like fucking 50 comics to spiral deeper into their depression
Oh, yeah.
when you
I
guys started.
apologize.
Yeah.
Fucked us all.
Yeah.
Right now, any,
We never knew how much we missed it till you were gone.
Yeah.
any Vancouver comics that commit suicide in the next 3 months, I'm gonna do the eulogy. I promise the families of whoever doesn't make it through this, I'm gonna do the eulogy, free of cost, no charge,
Yeah.
and it'll be good.
It'll be good. It'll be great.
I
Yeah.
promise. It'll be good. I did my grandma's eulogy. Fucking murdered, dude. It was like, dude, the priest was coming up because my mom's side of the family's Fijian, so like they're all Christian, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Like, to go to school, you have to be Christian or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
So like, the priest came up to me and he's like, "You're a pretty good public speaker. You ever think of doing anything with the church?" And I'm like,
Doing anything with the church?
You know,
Absolutely
nah.
fucking
Hey,
not.
check me
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate the sodomy, but I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't be involved.
I appreciate the
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm down with all the pastimes, but like
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah,
I was like, you know,
I'm
we're
not-
into
There are a
some
lot of
shit.
upsides here,
I'm
but
be
yeah.
reading books and running drills with you guys and shit.
Yeah,
Just let me do
yeah.
the, let me have the fun.
Can't be done.
Yeah, let me put the robes on
Did you
and
guys
have a
watch-
word
did
with
you
this
guys-
guy.
Did you guys watch The Righteous Gemstones at all?
I saw a little bit of the first season. I loved it. I need to watch the rest of it. But
Yeah,
the
with Danny
fucking
McBride
the
and John
super
Goodman,
church.
it's
Oh
fucking
yeah.
great. Where I'm like, God, I gotta start a church somewhere. Or like
Yeah.
a cult. I think I like because
I think cult is the way to go.
Yeah, cult is
Oh,
the way.
yeah.
But
yeah, yeah.
cults are always good up until you start fucking all your people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's where
If
people
you
go
can
wrong.
avoid that,
Yeah.
which I think I might be able to.
Well, like, what's the point of starting a cult then?
I know it's
Yeah.
true, it's true. But like,
Yeah.
did you guys watch on Netflix? It was like one of the first Netflix documentaries they made, but it's Wild Wild Country.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
of
my
course.
god.
Dude,
so
yeah, man.
fucking
Watch
Gotta
good.
do.
Wild Wild
Yeah.
Country.
Holy fuck.
It's kind of
wild.
based off.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched the Leader episode of The Simpsons where Homer joins a cult, but it's
No.
based off of Wild Wild Country.
Okay.
It's
okay.
so good. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Season 6, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we
it's-
would've watched-
So
so
Homer
what-
joins a cult, and it's just like he joins the cult, and it's just like straight up based off like the Maharashi shit. like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
They fucking
'Cause,
poison the water
yeah,
and
like
all
some
that.
dipper
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
to Portland, Oregon,
Yeah.
and just starts up a cult with all these white people. and
Just
it's just all
takes
Hindu
over a
shit,
fucking
takes
town.
and then Phil Knight, the guy who owns Nike, was pissed off, like, not
Yeah.
in my town, god damn it, these goddamn
Yeah.
and he just freaked out, but like that guy fucked up because he just started fucking his people, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same with
Koresh.
no, what's the
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good
well,
question, yeah.
but yes, but what's the one the big one with the shootout with the cops?
That was Waco, Texas.
Waco.
Yeah, that was
Waco.
that
Yeah,
was-
whereas like that thing is like they from my perspective weren't doing anything wrong except he was fucking everyone, which
Yeah.
was like the
Well,
only
yeah, but
questionable
like
part.
that's a really
Yeah.
interesting one. There's
Yeah.
John Ronson fucking wrote a book about that shit before The Men Who Stare at Goats. Look up John Ronson, Ruby Ridge, Waco, Texas, or whatever. So there's a great book that kind of like chronicles that whole thing. So at the time, it wasn't just like Waco's interesting because it that was happening, but also in the country at the time there was like they're trying to like put out like stuff about like white supremacist rings and stuff like that. The FBI was going through like all these like some pretty gnarly lengths to like infiltrate these groups and do some shit, and they just got some shit wrong. One of them was Ruby Ridge.
I was gonna say because they did that like right before Waco,
Exactly,
and they were trying
right?
to
So
like
that was,
fucking
like, their-
redeem themselves.
Yeah, so they shot a fucking kid in like the back
Yeah.
in fucking Oregon, and
They're
they're
like,
dude,
how
they're
do
like,
we
"Oh,
come
shit,
back from
oh,
this?
shit, we
We're
gotta-"
gonna fucking gas
It's
out
hey, there's a good-looking white
dozens
guy
of
fucking
kids.
a bunch of dudes' wives down in Texas. Like, let's get them. You know what I mean, right?
But
So, like,
that's the thing was like they really weren't fucking bothering. The only like questionable shit is that he was fucking everyone.
Dude, he was cucking everybody.
Literally,
Dude,
yeah.
for sure.
But it's
And,
like they weren't
but,
doing.
being
They
weird,
weren't bothering
stockpiling
anyone.
weapons. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah,
There was
like a
lot
little
of
questionable,
reasons
but they
around.
weren't fucking
But that's
poisoning.
their right in Texas to
Exactly.
do, right? Nothing
But they weren't
necessarily
fucking poisoning the water supply of their town.
Yeah.
yeah. There's I don't know. I think but then you have like the what is like the Krishna people and stuff like that. Like there's
Hare
some,
Krishna.
the
That's
Hare Krishna.
Abby.
There's
That's
some,
Abby grew up in Hare Krishna.
right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's so much crazy shit that gets involved in it. So now like you need to decide as a cult leader, what can you? I mean, okay, you're as charismatic as you can be. You can get people to the show, right? But how do you get them to follow you after that, right? There needs to be some kind of thing in as far as I can see, it's always something like a higher power, some kind of like a religious thing to get them on board, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to start the cult based off the ideals of we're here to fucking do drugs.
I'm more about
Right?
that's
Like,
the
if you
comedy.
could-
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
comedy in itself is a cult. Like this shit
Totally.
we do is a total cult.
Totally.
Man.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. It's shit we do where I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
kind of fun. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the cult of personality aspect of it, where it's like,
Yes,
'cause people
yeah.
ask me, like my girlfriend, and doesn't understand like why people fuck with the shit we do as much as they do, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just cool, like it's just fun, like
It's funny,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just
Fun to do,
funny.
like,
Yeah.
it's funny, like that's all. Like the
It's
shit we.
just funny,
and here's the
yeah.
thing. Admittedly, the shit we find funny isn't popular today. Like it's like there's people for it.
Yeah.
Like it's. I think it's the real shit. Like I think it's.
Well,
what
yeah,
it is.
popular
Oh, it
comedy
is,
and
yeah.
good comedy very seldom overlap.
Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah,
right? There's a lot of things,
yeah.
especially like this town's kind of like a hard town to get a laugh in, right? Some shit that'll
Yeah.
work in fucking East Van won't work in Kits, right?
No.
So you
Yeah.
really have to be kind of conscious about that. So like the joke that I pitched to Jackie is like, or the thing that we find funny initially, and I'm like, okay, there's a bit there. Then I fucking write it down the way I think it's funny, and then I'm like, how is an audience going to digest this? Because I don't want to fucking have a pang moment on fucking stage.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to figure it out. Like, I'm insightful enough that I can just kind of see how people might react to this, and I will fucking. I'm not necessarily going to fucking edit it or whatever. Like, I mean, the joke is going to be what the joke is, but at the end of the day, like, I'm going to finesse it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to kind of know how it's going to land in whatever room, right? Like, so, like that being said, though, if you were, or any like person who's just like not into having a good time, I do not understand why you're going to see comedy shows or why they're even having a conversation about the about comedy in the first place.
If you get offended easily, then why the fuck are you going
No,
to
but
a
I
comedy
think what
show?
it is, especially during COVID, motherfuckers have been trapped inside, and they're like, oh, on Netflix or whatever. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, comedy. Okay, yeah, I could use a laugh right now. I'm
Sure.
through some tough times. And they put on Netflix comedy.
Yeah.
And it's so broad and just bullshit and
Yeah.
not funny. And I'm like, this ain't what pop. And then they come to a comedy show expecting the same shit they see on Netflix,
Yeah.
and they get old school
Like
90s
raw,
underground
yeah.
basement comedy. And they're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? This is offensive. This isn't nice. You're discriminating against whatever group, and it's like, shut up.
This
Like,
is fucking comedy.
I've
Yeah.
had people
Yeah.
come at me for saying Packy on stage, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm brown. Who cares?
Look at me.
What are you now?
Yeah.
Like, why does that offend you?
I think when it's somebody
I
that's
have-
like whiter than us is gonna be like, hey man, you
yeah,
can't say that.
Yeah,
they're like, I
exactly.
have many Indian friends, and they would not appreciate you using that word. I'm like, what,
Yeah.
Packy? I mean, I'm pretty sure they all use it. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? bitch?
Yeah.
Like,
Unless you're gonna accurately describe them.
dude, it's crazy. Like, like
Yeah.
it's rare where I've had people come at me for saying shit, but like every now and then, like there's always some like just 19-year-old white bitch just coming at me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
lady, like go experience some pain. Go
Yeah.
Well,
I
exactly,
think it's
right?
a
That's-
it's
this
a
shit
fuck-
won't matter
yeah.
to you.
Exactly.
I think it's a fucking I think it's a John Mulaney bit where it's like he got in trouble because he said like midget on TV, and someone was like, midget is as bad as the N-word, and he was like, no, it's fucking not, because you said one of those words.
Yeah, it's not as bad. As
Yeah.
It's not as bad, but if you put them together, like midget and
Yeah, I mean that's just
I say
fucking
all the
funny.
time.
Yeah.
Dude, just once, I would love for like when they ask all these like athletes and fucking like celebrities, like, well, have you ever said the N-word? I just once would like to hear one of them just be like, well, yeah, not in public though.
Exactly.
Exactly. What are you
Like,
talking
Like
about?
if anyone says no, I've never said it, then it's like you're a fucking liar.
I'm a white kid from Western
Yeah.
Canada that grew up in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
I've said
Exactly.
the N-word a bunch.
Yeah.
I said it 4
Like-
times while I was taking a piss.
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, yeah, like now that like trust me, I mean, I live with a black guy. And there's like we established fucking like rules like it's a much different world than it used to be, right?
That was here.
Well, no, like I mean, Nye's the fucking best, right? Like at the end of the day, like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But like we were talking about, like the world that you grew up in is vastly different from the world that it is now, right? And then the comedy that. That you grew up on, like, you know what I mean? You're not going to go see, like, an Eddie Murphy, like, tear down a room like that. Like, I mean, if that same dude did that same set today, you know what I mean? That would be the fucking shittiest
I totally
time
want to start one of my sets just coming out like, none of you faggots maybe looking at my ass.
Oh, my God.
Totally, I'm doing that on Monday.
I mean, you could make it work.
Yeah, I would love that for your
Ruthless.
first Susie set. Just come out hard. Come out with a hard
Swinging.
faggot.
Absolutely swinging.
Oh my God.
I mean, fucking, I'm going to be there for
Worlds
that
are
group.
colliding.
Yeah. Because even like fucking doing our roast battle, I like wanted to do a joke where I called Johnny like a half faggot, and then I was like, I can't say that at Little Mountain Gallery, you know? It's like you never fucking because in certain areas of the city, it's like it's just gonna get a. Oh.
Yeah, well,
I'm
it's
kind
funny.
of offended they never
Yeah.
asked me to do one. I mean, people don't ask, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got asked.
Yeah.
Well, no, Nina put me onto it. So, like, I guess, like, I didn't know Cody at all. So, Nina did one of the roasts or whatever, and somebody had dropped out, and then Nina, because when I did your roast, like, I had a joke for everybody written on cue cards or whatever, right? And then so like Nina said that she's like, I don't know, he'll do the work, but basically, and so I had no idea what was going on, and fucking struggling for a little stage time. I'd love to roast Peter Grant, absolutely, let's do it, right? So. Doing that and then like rolling that into Jackie's, like it's fun to do. I think my act is fucking suffering because I've just had these like little fucking like things to other things to write for.
It
the
takes
past,
so
like, few
long
weeks.
to prepare for it.
I really give
my
a shit
God,
about him,
yeah,
right? You want him to
yeah.
be fucking good, right?
Yeah.
So like I mean, win or lose is like you want him to walk off the stage and like I want everybody in that room to know like I can fucking write jokes, right?
Yeah.
So
it's the most grueling, like especially like the comedy ring, King of the Comedy Ring.
Yeah,
battle,
to have to write
it
like
is the
30
most
jokes.
Grueling night of comedy, like
Yeah.
it's exhausting, especially to get to like because we've done 4 of them. I've been
doing
to
the work
finals.
for that show fucking sucks, man.
Yeah,
it's
it's
30
rough,
fucking 35
man.
fucking
Especially
jokes,
to
man.
get in that zone of writing roast jokes, it's dark, man, and it's depressing,
Dude.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh god, I can't believe I wrote that about this person. And it's like
Every time, and I'm talking to him, then like I think about it for like a week and a half, and then I get there, and I'm like, oh, this is my friend.
yeah, no, exactly.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
Yeah.
For the past
I'm
like
like,
week and a half,
where
I've
am
been
I?
vilifying you in my fucking head. Like,
Yeah.
what's the worst thing that I can say about you?
Yeah.
It's like the episode where I like how we keep going back to senses, but like Homer, Bart was in a mini golf tournament
Yeah.
against Todd
Yep.
Flanders.
Yep.
And Homer takes a picture of Todd Flanders and puts it on Bart's wall. He's like, "This is your enemy, Todd Flanders. Every day I want you to look at this photo for an hour and think about how much you hate him and how much you're gonna destroy him and how glorious it'll be when you beat him."
Yeah.
And he just like starts staring. Bart's like, "Grr."
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's my approach to roast. Man.
It's fucking so
Yeah,
important to
yeah.
do because if you don't go hard in the paint, like we had that problem, especially being such good friends. Going into it, we go. Like we know so much more about each other than we take to the stage, and we say a lot of fucked up shit about ourselves on stage. So we're like, there's enough material there. If it's in your act, then it's fair game.
Yeah.
So moving forward from that, I think it was pretty okay. But at the end of the day, like you want it to be good because like watching a bad roast at a roast show
exactly.
fucking sucks.
We
Well, it's
wanted
also
it to
people
be
don't
fucking
understand
brutal.
what a roast is because like when we did the last one at Fortune, like it was packed in there. There was like over 100 people, and during COVID especially, and people.
Bro, that was wild. There's dudes getting bottle service and shit at the front
Yeah,
row like that.
literally, they had like the fucking
that was
like
my-
That show
sparklers.
was fucking
Yeah.
wild.
Table of brown guys in the front get bottle service,
They had
and
the
the
fucking
chick brings
sparklers.
out the shit with
Yeah,
the sparklers.
yeah.
Like, you don't gotta do
Yeah,
that.
please don't.
Put the bottle
Yeah.
Dude, that was a wild night, and like,
It was,
like
yeah.
I'm saying crazy shit, like everyone's saying crazy shit, and the crowd's going like, oh, and then like the judges had to be like, it's a roast, shut
Like
up.
yeah, when you're
Yeah,
catching Oz and like
exactly,
I mean
yeah,
what. Well, I don't know because we're so deep in that it's probably hard to see from the outside.
Yeah.
But like if you're a civilian in there, and you just think that these people just got like put together the day before and they might not know each other, and you're saying like we all fucking perform
it's
together
all love.
all
Like,
the
we're
time.
in on
Exactly,
it. Like
yeah.
we get it. We know what
Exactly,
we're signing
right?
up for.
And it's hard to fucking like when you get a grown at one of those things, you're like fuck either. Like the joke has just got to suck. But like I had 2 of them last fucking during ours that I'm like. These jokes are the best jokes I've ever written in the sense that they're like really fucked up, like about really fucked up topics. So I'm comparing like the Jackie's love for abortion to how the Catholic Church, like the only person they're the only thing more responsible for senseless child death in the Catholic Church in this community is Jackie's right to choose. Right? I fucking love that joke. Dude, and I was sitting there for a week. Bro, for like a week. No, it was fine, but it got like a little bit of a like it didn't get the pop. I wanted Road Warriors 90s fucking pop for that fucking joke, and it did not get it. And fair enough, but we were both talking about jokes that took us like a week to do. And she hits me with a topical compare my dick to Alec Baldwin's prop gun joke that goddamn crushes. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh fuck. It's like it doesn't really matter. It's like the regardless of like the outcome, it's the time that person takes to craft that fucking joke about you. Yeah. And there's like you know what I mean. There's that sense of fucking camaraderie there where you're just like, I know what it takes to fucking like to write a joke that you're very fucking proud of, and for it to get the pop, you're almost like more pumped. Like, you know what I mean, right? You're sitting there and you're just like, so it becomes like whether it's win or lose for us, it's a win for the team regardless, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it was.
That's the thing with roast battles is that like the one I did with Jaron is I think one of the most brutal roast battles.
That was one of the most savage things I've ever seen on stage.
Devastating knockout. It was like Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed. Like I murdered that.
If he dies, he dies.
He died, and that was it. Like it was that. That was my attitude going into it. Yeah. I didn't expect to fucking murder the guys, and he had some good ones. But it's like I can't even post that.
He should have took some fucking notes because my God, he did not take that to Panglet the other night. But like, I mean, I'm just gonna fucking.
And that was like,
we're having drinks. It's on Front Street right now. This is the nighttime podcast.
Yeah, it's just getting wild. And like, but when we were preparing for the roast too, we were like, we don't want it to be too personal. But we don't want to hold back because people are hyping this up so much. We want to fucking deliver, and we want it to be a good roast.
Yeah, we should money on it or something.
Yeah,
that
we
was
should
the only
put
one I
money
saw
on
on the roster. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a good battle.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to deliver with, but it's hard to fucking know where the line is. Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I'll run the gauntlet. Fucking give me 8 of your best guys. I'll take them all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's the thing too. Like,
for them to not even reach out is like his one thing or whatever. But I think now like that, it's been sad. I think there's only gonna be 1 or 2 of them more. Maybe.
I think there's one more.
I want to do one before they shut down.
You should. I would reach out to him like now.
I'll give it to him. I'll see what's up. But I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't want to pull RV here, but like, you know, 2 roast battle championships.
I
mean, let's get serious, right? Credit where it's fucking due. You've done this before.
You want to talk about the GOAT? Come on, man.
Exactly. Come with the God, baby.
Let's go, man. I'm just saying, man. When it comes up.
I would reach out to him like right now about it because I'm sure tons of people are gonna want to get on that last one.
You probably don't know me.
But
I know you've heard about me.
You've heard about it.
How about we go at it? How about you and me, son?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll fucking take him. I don't give a shit.
Where's I don't know for. Like Cody's a very nice guy, and I've only met him the 2 times at the roast and shit like that. But I mean, if you're wearing the referee shirt, I think like I mean, at some point you got to step in the ring.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm always on this undercard. I'm like, I'm bringing heat over here.
I see the undercard.
So basically, they have like the 4 or 5 undercard battles, and then they have the main like championship battles. So it's just like each one individual roast, and then like they have the 2 for like the big battle. But it's not based on the show beforehand. It's just like who they book for each slot.
I want the champ. Whoever the champ is, I'll take him on.
Yeah, they had whoever like won the championship last time. You'd think it would go over to the next show, but it didn't.
You think, but it doesn't.
Like
Rachel.
Yeah.
I feel like there's only one real roast battle champ in this town. Is Ruthless Ravi Khanna. What are we talking about here, man? Like at this point, it's like all heads should bow and all tongues should confess.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Well, like who wants it? Like who wants? Like that's what I'm saying. Because like I mean, people
Nobody
are gonna
wants it, dude.
because people are gonna roll their eyes at that statement. But like who's knocking at the door? You know, to say, hey, I want it.
I have like from the last 3 Little Mountain roast battles. No piss on them, or whatever. But like every single 6 of those guys have messaged me going like, "Yo, man, you got any jokes for this thing?" And I'm like, "Here you go, done." Like it's easy for me.
Yeah.
When you're in that dark fucking roast area, it's fucking
totally.
You can draw that comparison.
I do that shit all day. Like it's just what I do, man. Like,
Also, though, if you're doing a roast and you're asking someone else for jokes, then like
I will never do it. I will never do it. I write with Jackie, so like I will fucking pitch Jackie jokes. And
I'll pitch
but when it comes
to
the fucking. And
I'm never gonna ask someone, "Do you have jokes about this person?" Then it's like that's
fucking
not even,
hacks.
Everyone has like definitely for roast battles. Everyone has someone they bounce jokes off of. For me, it's Adrian Joseph. Adrian's one of the funniest fucking jokers. You don't see him on stage, but this motherfucker is like an encyclopedia of just comedy history.
Oh, and but you see like the meme lord, man, like that dude.
That guy has some insane.
My
should see the shit he doesn't post. Fuck.
I
want to see
That
the shit I
shit
want to
is
see.
soul crushing.
Alicia sent me a couple after the fucking funniest female. Oh my
Game of
god,
Stones,
we
my
were
friend,
fucking
Yeah, that was a cancelable thing. It's like, you're in a position of power. You should be making fun of them. Like, fuck off, dude.
Fucking whatever.
At the
If
end of the day,
you're a comedian and you choose to do comedy, and then you are agreeing to take on
It's open
whatever.
season. Yeah, it
Exactly.
comes with it.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
You're in the fucking community, man.
Yeah. If
What
you're
the-
calling yourself a comic, then
Yeah.
you better be able to fucking take it.
Oh yeah, well, because the same person's gonna turn around and talk shit.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
this
the
is
best part of this is just the shit talking. I love it. Like, it's
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
It's my favorite part. It's like 'cause
Yeah.
everyone has. I love how everyone hates the same people, but the people that we all hate don't realize it.
Right?
Well, oh,
yeah.
It's wild, right? But like a lot of times, like you realize, like, did you not grow up in the same like playground or you know
No,
what
they
I
didn't
mean?
have a
On the
bully.
same-
That was the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But like I've been
yeah.
like it's just or even at the fucking dinner table with like my grandparents, my uncles around and shit like that. Like everybody's constantly talking shit in the lunchroom. I'm a goddamn like you know what I mean. So this is like that environment is
Dude,
something
my
that's not-
mom is one of the greatest shit talkers of all time. Like to this day, like I remember when I was a kid, she used to be like, like she used to say shit to me like, when God was handing out brains, you were in the food lineup.
Oh my
I
god.
was like 8 years old. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
no, that's really good. And I remember one time she called me Head and Shoulders because I don't have a neck.
Mama. Ooh.
Fucking insanely savage. I'm
Yeah.
like, you fucking bitch.
That is fucking
terrible.
hilarious.
Like I'm like, all right, like you had to toughen up back then. That's how it was, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But nowadays, it's just everyone's just coming up with like this just entitlement to like, oh, I'm doing this, so I should get this.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking Taylor Swift at the VMAs.
Yeah.
Can't
What
fucking
are you
handle
doing?
this. I'm a victim here
Exactly.
when you're
Bringing it
fucking
back.
being praised for nothing.
Speaking of positions of power, now one of my favorite tracks off the album is Power.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Oh,
I don't think we
man.
touched on yet.
No,
but
we haven't.
Power.
Yeah.
Just that beat when it comes on of that, just like that African tribal fucking whatever the fuck it was, of just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just Kanye going in on everybody. Like he goes after South Park for the fish sticks, which to this day, honestly, Bill Hader created that joke. The fucking, hey,
you like fish sticks? Yeah.
Well, what are you, gay
Yeah.
fish? That's Bill Hader. Bill Hader.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Like, they do South Park the way they write. They do their retreats.
Totally.
There's
Yeah.
a really good documentary on YouTube called 6 Days to Air.
So good.
Watch that,
It's
and it's just
fantastic.
them. I think it was the human centipede.
Human centipede, yeah.
iPad episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just them creating, and they have no ideas. And
What?
they're
You
like,
didn't read the terms and agreements?
Yeah, we all read it. Jeez, we all read the terms and agreements. Like, it's such a great episode. But
Yeah.
Bill Hader they were on their retreat in fucking Lake Tahoe or whatever, and Bill Hader's just like, oh yeah, you like fish sticks? And when Trey or Matt was like, yeah, I do. They're like, what are you, gay fish? And then one of them was just like, is that a joke? Did you just create that? And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just said. He's like, Google it. See if that's.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
that. Dude, I do that all the time. Anytime I do
Oh,
something
same.
Like, if I
When
see
it-
something
Yeah.
savage, I'm
when
like,
it
oh, I
yeah,
gotta
but when
see
it when it
this.
comes
Same,
so
yeah.
quick and it's so perfect that
Yeah.
we
I'm
have
like,
that
someone
thing. It's
has to have
somebody-
said this
like, yeah,
before.
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
like,
I'm
yeah,
ripping
somebody
that off from
must have
somebody.
said this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
when it just
alright,
comes to you
no.
so quickly,
Yeah,
you're
same
like,
with roast
yeah,
jokes. Where
yeah,
like, me and
exactly.
Adrian will
Yeah.
be driving around and we'll just be making fun of. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like at 3 a.m. in the morning, I'll message him a picture of like someone will post. One of you idiots will post something to Instagram, and I'll fucking screenshot it, and I'll send it to Adrian or Alicia or Dylan or Am or Saeed.
Yeah.
I'm just outing the group.
Yeah, I was gonna
Or Ty, or Jackie, or Johnny Paul, whatever. Like, a bunch of group chats.
say. Yeah.
The ones of you who started a group chat with us, you're the best.
yeah.
Y'all getting the best shit. Anyway, so I'll send some shit to these guys, and then just roasting commences. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
holy fuck! Like these are terrible. Like if that's why I say like when I die, delete my phone because it will destroy all of you.
Everybody that
Yeah.
thought they had I thought we were cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
invited him to Thanksgiving. He was a pallbearer at my
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, dude, there are people like I had a buddy of mine, like a good buddy of mine. I've been friends with him for like 30 years. Like legit, day one. Like when I say day one, this guy's day one. And he goes, "Yeah, man, you know it's nice that me and you never make fun of each other." And I was just like, "Oh,
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no. You can't have that moment of realization, right? Because like if as soon as you pause there for a second, that moment of eye contact, they're like, they know immediately. They're like, I've been talking shit about you.
Princess, that fucking Padme meme from Star Wars.
Yeah, totally.
What do you mean? It's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just what we do. I feel like genetically, it's just what we do, though. Like,
and especially like when people are especially in this comedy community in Vancouver that's so full of bullshit, it's the only way to like keep participating within this community and not fucking lose your mind.
dude,
To like get
so
the
much
shit out.
Where I'm like, I gotta comment on this.
Exactly.
I gotta. But
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they're not gonna get it. They're gonna get upset.
Exactly.
And it's so funny, but it's like they'll delete the comment.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly,
and
right?
it's
But
so
like,
nice to have like the group of people that you can go to with that shit to be like, at least they get it.
Yeah, well, you pitched to us because we were thinking
Yeah.
the same fucking thing.
Exactly.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I love Adrian because Adrian just calls people out. Like he'll text message people. Fat piece of shit. I think I gave it away. But dude, I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, don't do that. Like, what are you doing? Like, and then like we go like technically I'm the fucking HR of Comedy Ring. Like I'm doing this shit. So anytime anyone has to say something or has
Dude,
an issue,
if you're
they
human
come to me.
resources, this is set up to fail.
Like, why am I HR? HR? Like, Nancy Ho is legit HR. Like, talk to Nancy Ho. She does it for a living. But motherfuckers come to me like, hey, man, I got this issue with this person. I'm like, what do you want to do? They're like, I want to say this. I'm like, go ahead, man.
Exactly.
Who the fuck gives a fuck?
It's great.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy my HR position.
It's more encouraging people.
At the
to,
end of the
like,
day,
take
it's
a shot.
fucking comedy, and if you call yourself a comic and you can't take like a roast joke, no matter how brutal and out of context it is, if you can't take it, then fucking leave.
Exactly.
Honestly,
100%.
those are my favorite parts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look in the camera when I say this. This is my favorite parts of roast battles is when you say something and you see the break in their eye, where you know you've cut them deep in their soul.
Yep.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yep.
I love it.
That shit sustains me, man.
Seeing people realize that they've gone in over their heads.
Oh, totally.
That shit gets me so hard.
It's the fucking best, right? Because like from where I'm coming from, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so like all my shit's on Front Street, right? So like if you want to attack like 3 or 4 fucking, maybe like 1 or 2, you're like, ooh, you really think that's gonna hurt me?
Yeah.
And then like it's the hit back, and it's the best fucking feeling in the world, right? When you deliver a roast joke and you're not delivering it to the crowd because you know it's so good. I'm like looking you right in the eye when I say it. like that's the shit. You know what I mean?
And that's where it hits, like, even fucking, like, if you watch, like, any fucking roast battle, when it hits the hardest is when you fucking say it to that person. I'm like, this is not a performance. I am saying this to you directly.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck if they're listening.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because, like, when you see me and Jackie do it, we're performing for the crowd. Like, we're not taking that heat to each other.
Yeah.
One of the issues with, like, the Vancouver comedy scene, because I don't think anyone's watched as much Vancouver comedy as I have in the last 2-3 years.
There's not a chance you're the only show promoter that like actually pays attention to your own shows.
Exactly, you're doing their you're doing their taking photos, doing the light.
I gotta be in the room. Like it's fine.
We've
like,
talked
whatever.
about how like when we do Comedy Ring shows, we feel like we have to do new material because you listen to everything.
a lot of time.
I juice it more than anyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard something 10 times. I'm like, ha ha.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the laugh.
No,
yeah,
I
you
really
do.
appreciate
You're
it
good
too,
with
yeah.
it. You're
Generally,
good
it
with
makes me laugh though. Like I got a loud laugh that'll fill a room.
No, yeah, you're good with
but,
that. But
like, because that's the thing too. I noticed is that crowds are so tentative now, especially during COVID. People don't know what they're allowed to laugh at anymore.
Yeah.
So at least if one of us is in the room at least laughing, then it's like okay, it makes it okay. All the 30 of us or whatever can laugh.
Yeah,
at this,
exactly.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
It really it sets a good tone because you got well, hopefully they come back, but you were doing some really great rooms that really had the good feel, small, packed. You know what I mean? Low
That's
ceiling
how
and shit like that.
Comedy's meant,
should be,
100%.
yeah.
The type of comedy we do, it's meant to be underground. We can't do
Totally.
this shit in a park. It's
No.
not gonna work.
No.
My
I don't
God,
want to
no.
put people through
Or
that.
We
on
don't need
fucking Zoom or
pedestrians
anything like
walking
that.
by to.
I don't want some
Yeah.
chick with their fucking baby like walking
Yeah,
by.
you
maybe
need to
mom will come in on,
when
like,
you
know,
walk
whatever.
into the
Totally.
room, you need to get a feel for what you're walking into.
Yes.
If it's a
Yeah.
small dark room, you're like, okay, we're about to see some
like
like
this is
questionable
great. Like
shit.
a lot of people
Yeah.
would be like, see this room right now. It's fucking pitch black. They'd be like, I don't know how I feel about this. I love this. I
Yeah,
dwell
yeah,
in this.
yeah.
This is my favorite.
I want a
Yeah.
bright fucking light in my face in the darkest room
Exactly.
possible.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
this. I live for this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. I feel like with the comedy scene in Vancouver is that I've seen a lot of comedy in Vancouver, and like the one thing I noticed is that a lot of motherfuckers weren't brought up on comedy. You can tell
Yeah.
they weren't like you ask people who your influence is, and they'll be like, I like just new people.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what about Carlin? What about Mitch Hedberg? What
Yeah.
about
What'd you
Rodney
come up on?
Dangerfield?
Yeah,
What about Pryor? What about Paul Mooney? What'd you come up on?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've never heard of those people. I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's room to learn. The thing is though, like, I don't know, like for me, it's like I always dwelled in that, like that funny, like a lot of times for me, it was like comedy was the only thing I had. That was the only thing I had to like keep me from going crazy. Whether it was like people ask me why I fuck with Sandler so hard. That motherfucker saved my life, dude. People say like, people say like, oh, Kid Cudi saved my life. Adam Sandler saved my life,
Dude,
dog. And
I
Cudi
have
too.
gone to bat for Adam
Oh my
Sandler.
God, dude,
You
Jack
should
is
have.
fucking,
You
like,
should have heard me.
vicious, fucking
When we
vicious.
were in fucking film school, we were in comedy class, and this fucking girl in our class started going off about how Adam Sandler isn't a comedian and he's not funny. And this is a girl who does not write comedy, does not do comedy, doesn't know anything about comedy. So I went in on her, and it got like a little bit personal.
No, it got
I
wild.
got
I'm sitting there, well, no, like the way that it happened is she's sitting there and he's like, what's he done? I'm like, do you have any idea about like SNL or the comedy albums and this and that? And then like I'm sitting here being like, but you know what I mean, just being like, I disagree, and Jackie's just like, bitch.
Like for me,
to the
growing
point,
up,
like
it
the
was
teacher had to like call it off. He's like, "All right, we're in class right now."
But it's so fucking, it's so goddamn real because like for me, Carlin, in the sense of discovering who I am as a person, my the way that I look at the world, it wasn't just like comedy or whatever for that. Like I mean, like Carlin and punk rock or whatever, it was like that. That was that thing to the point where I had roommates that would come home being like, "You're watching this fucking special again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know what I mean, or whatever. Like that whole thing when you're talking to somebody about writing jokes that doesn't have like a, you know what I mean, like a lifelong obsession with it, then it's hard to talk to them about it, right? Because it's you know what I mean.
That's the thing why we all get along. Like the ones of us who get along, who like we're from the same tribe. Like we all came up on the same shit, so we understand. Like the way we joke with each other or the way we tell jokes, you can see I can see the influence of.
It's like anybody that awes at one of those fucking shows never watched Elephant in the Room, and they're fucking and then it shows.
Like Patrice, I'm like, dude. Like I used to come home grade 6, grade 10, grade 11.
Yeah.
Download O&A. Sorry, Johnny, can you grab me one? But like I'd come home and I'd download O&A, Opie and Anthony, just to listen, just in the case that Patrice might have been on. Thanks. And you see the influence on people. Like with Adrian, like it's Mitch Hedberg. Like the way he writes jokes, like, that's fucking Hedberg.
Yeah.
Like that's like the way it comes across. I'm like, I get like, so I see the influence, but a lot of people I see no influence. I see a lot of people who just don't have a group of friends. I see a lot of people who are just like not like people I would have picked on in high school. Like there are a lot of people who are like with you guys I would have fucked with in high school. I would have been like, we'd chill. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who like on the scene where I'm just like, God damn, I would have totally destroyed these people in high school. Like, why? Like I feel weird. Like I know, and people in that, like all the nerds now are like, that's the thing. Like, dude, I had a crazy idea for a movie, and I didn't send it to you guys the other night, but I was super baked.
Yeah.
This is my pitch for a movie. So basically, it's kind of based off my life, but it's like what I've noticed is that all these geeks that got picked on in high school and nerds, they're all in kind of like middle management positions of power now.
Yeah.
Or they get a little bit of power and they just go crazy, right?
Yeah. Right.
Which we see all the time, especially on the scene. But my thing is that the movie is basically about an ex-bully who's now reformed. Like he's got a day job, he's living his life, he's got some kids, he's got a wife, just living life. He's just doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But then the problem is that all these regular people are being oppressed by these former nerds who got in a little position of power. So it's like these people who are like in like an accounting firm.
Yeah.
Their boss is just an ex-nerd, but they just have a little bit of power, and they're just making these people's lives horrible.
Right.
So the people who are being oppressed reach out to their ex-bully, to the person's ex-bully. They're like, "Hey man, are you Ruthless Ravi Khanna?
You still available?"
I'm like, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Dude, you're setting this up like an 80s action movie? Like,
Literally.
I retired.
Yeah. I'm like, they're like, "Are you Ruthless Ravi Khanna?" I'm like, "I used to be." Doesn't matter anymore though. And they're like, "Well, we think it does." And
One
I'm like,
more ride.
I'm like, "What's happening?" They're like, so and so. They're wilding out. They're just oppressing us. They're making our lives so hard. We need you. And I'm like, oh my God. I haven't heard the name Sarah Gilbert in years. I remember her, I used to make her life a living hell. We're like, well, yeah, but now she's the head accountant. She's a CPA here. She's our boss, and she's so mean to us. She's making our life a living hell.
She's a tyrant.
Yeah.
She's a tyrant. We need you to teach her a lesson. I'm like, no, I've got kids. I've got a wife. What kind of example would I be setting? I don't want them to know about that part of my life. Get out of here. Leave my property. And they're like, we need you, Ruthless. And I'm like, no. And then I watch the news, and it's like Sarah Amon just like Sarah Gilbert being a bitch, and I'm like, oh man, like I don't know, I gotta do.
Then you
something.
turn it off and you walk away. No, I can't. Right, but it just eats at
and
you.
then I go to my wife, and she's like, where are you going? And I'm like, she's like, where are you going, Ruthless? Make love to me. And I'm like, no. I got something bigger I gotta do. And she's like, you told me it was over. You told me it would never be again.
You're just packing whoopee cushions and fake shit into a suitcase.
I'm like, if I don't make it, make sure my boy knows that I was a bully. I'm not gonna tell him that.
He knows the name.
And then the movie's about the bully going after the person who used to get bullied. And they're like an anti-hero. The hero. Because we need bullies, man.
Dude, it's the Punisher.
great.
There's like two other ways there's one other way that you could design. I mean, I love that it's like you set it up like in that sense you're like a superhero. Like that's like you're trying to it's the fucking hero's journey. It's the refusal to the call to action, right? And then I also like the idea is that if they set up your life in a way that something happens like you're just trying to live a regular life and say, the eviction notices coming, last car payment, something like that or whatever, right? They kind of, you're down in the dumps and they offer you the money or whatever to get over.
Yes.
Then at the end, you find out that they set up. You know what I mean? So you have to take both of them out at the end. You know what I mean? At the end, you knock her down to size, and you take out the group as well, and you take.
Well, the other idea was that my wife would be like, "Why don't you take your dad?" Because my dad would be like terminally ill with cancer, and we just never really see eye to eye.
Nice.
But like, why don't you take your dad?
Dude, in the final fight, she's like, "Well, your dad has cancer." And
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, she's good now."
Like me and my dad go on me and my real dad just go on like a journey where we just talk about our issues and shit. And I'm like, well, why do you think I was a bully? It's because of you.
Oh yeah, and it all goes back to the father.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
you got it.
Oh,
And then
that's
the
good.
great part is
Got a
that
little sympathy for your
a lot of
character.
people are like, oh, is this gonna be like a PG movie? Like, you find out some shit about yourself, you resolve it. I'm like, no, it's a hard R 80s action.
Oh
movie.
yeah,
Where I'm just
hard R,
breaking
hard
necks
R.
and just fucking broad.
This is RoboCop. Like they had to cut 20 seconds to get the R rating.
get
Like
the
this
R,
is as fucked up as it could be.
And I'm just fucking people. Just like going
Fucking
like
left,
make
right,
love to me.
center.
And like, aren't you married? I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I won't make.
baby.
I won't. Hey, I'm married. I won't make love to you, but I will
I'ma
fuck the
fuck
shit
you.
out of you.
Just hard, just cum shots, everything. It's gonna be a good. Like I think it's.
We're gonna get Lou to shoot this. We'll write this.
Oh,
We
yeah,
can actually
You go on
get this.
Amazon
Fuck yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. The people are ready for this one.
No, but it's
Yeah,
true. I hear
yeah.
from people all the time like,
Street's
oh
been
man,
waiting.
my boss is such a
Yeah.
geek. Like, dude, you would have tore them apart if you went to high school with them. I'm like, well, maybe it's not too late.
Yeah.
Let me just show up.
Yeah.
You know what's so weird?
When,
is, like,
who
when I was
decides
a-
when high school really
Yeah.
ends? Yeah.
That's the tagline for the movie.
Dude, I imagine like some of the people who got bullied must just be like, just fucking, just like living life day to day. Like, I hope that guy doesn't show up again. Like, I hope I never
just in fear.
There are people who like I went to high school with where I just don't see them on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're not on Instagram. They're not on Snapchat.
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
no social media presence.
Yeah.
I feel like social media in like by 2035, I feel like social media is gonna be treated like the way people treat drugs. Where they're like, am I using social media right now? I was like, a little bit. I went on Instagram for a bit.
Bro,
Right.
that's
Like,
really
what are you
fucking funny.
doing, man? Don't
Yeah.
do it, dude. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Vancouver comedians, stop doing that. Stop putting a message out like, I'm gonna take some time away.
Oh
from
my
Instagram.
god.
Shut the fuck up.
No one
bitch.
gives a
care.
fuck.
I'm here for some cleavage
Yeah.
and some bikini pictures I can jack off to every now
Dude,
and
I
then.
Yeah,
want,
like,
I want,
who the
I want
fuck-
booty
yeah.
pictures and skateboarding, and that's it.
But the
Yeah.
crazy part is I finish all the time on those messages of I need to take some time away. The weakness. I love the weakness. I'm like, I'm jacking off.
That's
to
what
this.
makes me
Oh,
bust.
you can't handle a comment, you bitch.
Oh my god. And just like the fucking, for you to think that people give enough of a shit and would notice. They're like, just so you know, I'm not gonna be here for a while, so like don't. Yeah, you can text me if you need to get in touch with me. It's like no one needs to get in touch with you.
It's a message to our listeners. Nothing matters and nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Make fun of people. Bully.
Hell yeah.
My
Bully.
message to the children.
Dude, we're gonna land the plane. Is that should we end this?
Bully the fuck out of all of your peers.
I'll say something
Be
about
like
Kanye,
be
but-
like Kanye. Be like
But about
Kanye.
the bullying,
Yeah.
I really feel my message to the kids out there: be a bully. You know, if there's any 5th, 6th graders listening to this, just bully. We need you. We need you. If you have a need, if you have got some hate in your heart, let that out. Bully some kids, man.
The world needs you.
Yeah.
The world goes around. You
There's
know.
a lot of people out here that do not have thick enough skin,
No,
especially
none.
in the fucking Vancouver comedy community.
Yeah.
Like Jesus
Bully.
Christ.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Yeah.
y'all, please bully. And I'm telling you, like, if you know a bully in your life, support that bully. Let them know you're here for them. Let them know you
100%.
support
Yeah.
them. And let them know that you love them, that you appreciate what they're doing
Yeah.
out there. Because we need bullies, man. Otherwise, you just got a bunch of random fucking bitches just winning competitions. That
I mean, when he's right, he's right. They call him ruthless, but he might be right.
It's a name. It's a name. I'm going to be running for city council pretty soon. I hope I can count on all your votes.
100%.
And, yeah, man. We got some shit coming up.
Hell yeah.
Tie it back to Kanye. I feel like the ones who should be celebrated and the ones who should be treated as you know, the Steve Jobses and the Walt Disneys and the fucking Beethovens. Like, I put Kanye up with all those guys. Like, I feel like when you're talking about the greatest ever, to me, in my life, in my experiences, the guy who's got me through all the shit I've been through in life is Kanye West. Like, that man has a song for everything you're going through in life, whether it be heartbreak, whether it be loss, whether it be dealing with vices, whether it be just wilding out, whether it be just accepting you for who you are and just fuck it. This is me. I don't give a shit what anyone says. It is what it is. you know?
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate Kanye for. And I feel the unfortunate thing with Kanye is he's not going to be appreciated for the man he is until he's long gone.
Yeah.
If he had died, like, here's the thing. People talk about Tupac. Tupac's the greatest of all time, especially people from our generation. They'll always be like, oh, Tupac or Biggie. Why are we still talking Tupac or Biggie, man? These motherfuckers died when they were 27, 26.
Yeah. You were talking about the words of a 26-year-old. I mean, in that sense, incredibly fucking talented, and like I would put like Tupac in the conversation or whatever because the amount of work or whatever that came out at that time, right? But now, like, I mean, to like I think the measure of a man should be like everything that he's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so much of
that
it,
gets
when
added
like
into
people like die so young like that, so much of the conversation is like, imagine what they would have done.
No, but like,
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
the thing. I'll tell you
exactly.
what. If Tupac was still alive, he would have been in Tyler Perry movies. That's it. He would have either been a city council guy, city councilman in Oakland or some shit.
You shut your fucking whore
or
mouth.
he would have been the
Or
bad
he would
guy.
have been fucking featuring on Kanye tracks.
Yeah, he would have been the bad guy in some Tyler Perry movie. That's it. He would have been just fucking. Was it Chris
You know
Rock?
what's funny? It's
I
like,
think
I don't-
Chris
yeah.
Rock said that, where Chris Rock was like, if Tupac was still alive, he'd be kicking Jill Scott down the stairs in some Tyler Perry movie. What he'd be doing? That's it.
I think, well, no, that's fair. Like, my favorite rapper, like, my opinion on hip hop doesn't necessarily matter because, like, my favorites are still alive, a lot of them, and they're, you know what I mean, and the you know, the streets aren't talking about them, so it is what it is, right? So if there was but like if that was the case and there was like a Tupac, Rakim, Cool G rap track, then like it would be like I'm an old head, I guess, or whatever, right? So I think like that's kind of like where I'm at. I was talking to Jackie about it today. Is that I've always not necessarily doubted Kanye because like I mean remember the Chappelle Show appearance that they had with
The
fucking
food. Oh my god,
the
dude,
food was
dude,
fucking
that,
unbelievable.
Okay, go YouTube. If you have never seen it, go YouTube the food. Common Kanye West on Chappelle Show. That
It's one of the best
that was
fucking
04,
performances.
03, 04. That was they didn't use the studio version of that track. They used the Chappelle Show version.
Yeah.
Even on Spotify.
Yep.
If you go search the food, it's the Chappelle Show version
Yeah.
where he's like tonight's musical guest
It's
from
good.
Southside Chicago, Common and Kanye West, and it's just
It's the best.
greatest fucking live
Yep.
performance. Chappelle. Speaking of Chappelle Show, that's the thing for me. What changed my mind on like what I thought could be funny and what I thought was funny was Chappelle's show. The minute
Quali
I saw
did get
Chappelle's
by
show,
when Mos Def did fucking Don't Push Me. Like, I mean, like, he has some of the best musical
that show
performances.
changed my life. Of like, it changed my entire identity. In grade 9, I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck, I'm a funny guy, whatever. I make people laugh. But after Chappelle's show came out, I just started saying wild shit to the point where the teachers were like, "Holy fuck, like that's pretty funny. Like that's good." Like I had so many like just like teachers would tell me, they're like, "Yeah, don't worry about this shit, you'll be fine." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, like that's not good to tell the fucking 14-year-old like, you know."
Yeah, when we were taking swings like that, but like I remember I was working at a pizza place, like we were talking about by then it was season 2, and we were like that Thursday night we were like, this fucking sucks because now like if nobody's taping this tonight, then we have to fucking like what's next reruns like Sunday or something. We're not gonna be able to see this.
The Chappelle season 1 DVD is still the best-selling DVD of all time, next to Shrek.
And
like
I fucking
Shrek 1, which is a fucking classic.
Oh,
I mean, you can't deny Shrek 1.
Shrek.
Holy fuck,
Shrek 1 is insane. And then you got fucking.
But I don't own Shrek 1, and I do own fucking season 1 and season 2 and the Lost episodes.
And the Lost tapes, and I got the compilation, all of them.
Oh yeah.
The box.
You know, one of my favorite performances on Chappelle's show, Common and Kanye was great. Talib was great.
So good.
He had so many just class. I remember Kanye and Kanye did 2 Words on there with Mos Def. Fucking insane. But there was an episode right before the 2004 election with Wyclef.
They were on the double-decker bus and shit with words. That's right.
Wyclef did If I Was President. Oh
that was
God.
good.
It's such a good, because Wyclef's just losing his mind. He's like,
if I was president.
If I was president. Tell the children about
and shit.
Christopher Columbus. He's like, but the radio won't play this.
It's so funny because like it was so heavy, but then like it goes back to like the next fucking sketch. Like, it's fucking leopard,
leopard. That was a sketch that fucking made him go crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But man, that fucking Chappelle show just fucking, it was so influential. Like to me, that's I make fun. I did a bit about Chappelle like at a fucking one of his shows where I was just making fun of how Chappelle is now. Yeah. Because like when we were growing up, Chappelle was the man. He just said crazy shit.
Wild.
But now what Chappelle does, it's the formula for every joke he does now, where he'll mention an obscure white athlete, and then he'll tie it into George Floyd. So he'll be like, "It's crazy, y'all. Jean-Joel Pierre Sanchez, the greatest ping pong player around. And he does amazing shit. But George Floyd won't get that opportunity."
Yeah.
What are you talking about, dog?
I think Chappelle now, like, his evolution is so interesting because he's still, like, brilliant for just his mind, but he's not like a laugh out loud comedian anymore. And you can almost like compare.
He has his moments.
Of course, but you can almost like compare it to Kanye's evolution, whereas like he's not like the fucking best hip hop artist working right now. But you
say the best rapper alive has 9 ghostwriters. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but you can see that he hasn't been afraid to evolve and change what he does, and it's just like his mind works in so many different ways, and he goes down these different.
Every album, like so, the first 3 albums were pretty much the same. Like College Dropout, he was doing the soulful shit. Late Registration, he moved into orchestration shit. Yeah. Graduation was just about techno beats with funk and shit like that. 808s was just the 808 auto-tune era. Yeah. And then he goes into Life of Pablo. Life of Pablo to me is like, I think I would put that number 2 in my favorite.
I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah,
like, you know what's funny is like I talk shit about Kanye like from like a.
We had
from a distance, but like I was talking to Jackie about it today. It's like, 'cause I never want to seem like a hater. I'm just like, it's just not for me, right? But you can't say that. It's just like anytime a white guy says some shit out of pocket, like this is, and like that's
but he's so like self-aware.
So like anytime that I say anything negative about Kanye, he just gets stronger.
Yeah.
Because like I love Through the Wire, but since Through the Wire to now he's a goddamn billionaire, and I've just been over here being like, I'm not sure about this guy.
But he's still still very self-aware, and I love the old Kanye was on fucking Life of Pop. Like he's very aware of the fact that he's changing, but he doesn't.
That was the time. I feel like he wrote that song for me to be like, fuck you, shut up, Johnny.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I hear everything you're fucking saying, and I'm gonna make I'm gonna drop like a sick,
what if Kanye
like
made
fucking
a track minute
long track.
With all the albums, like with Yeezus. I remember when Yeezus came out, and it was just like motherfuckers were just hating on Yeezus.
I
Like,
fucking
like,
loved Yeezus.
I loved it.
Oh,
I'm
and
like,
Blood
oh,
on the
dude.
Leaves.
Yes,
Oh
Blood on the
my
Leaves,
god.
on site.
Yeah.
Bound. I even like Bound.
Bound.
Like,
I love
was
Bound.
like,
Oh my
alright,
god,
like,
the fucking music video is so
Yeah, with
ridiculous.
him.
Yeah. And when fucking when Seth Rogen and Franco redid
yeah.
it. Oh
Those
my
two won't
god.
even work together anymore. Or,
Yeah,
not even
because
that.
Franco's been like,
I love James
canceled.
Franco.
Yeah.
I'll say it on record, I love that guy.
He did comedy so well.
Dude, he's
Like,
I
oh
find
my
him
God.
to be hilarious.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah.
But like that's kind of shitty. Like I can't imagine my buddies I've been friends with for over 20 years. I can't imagine turning my back on him. Just be like,
yeah, because it's I mean like I get I love Seth Rogen, so no hate to him, but it's like yeah, you had to have known if you've been friends for this long, you knew he was a fucking weirdo from the start. Like you had to have known all
oh,
this
of course,
shit was
yeah,
going
James
on.
Franco's all, like you
Yeah.
on 30 Rock talking about how he's fucking a pillow.
Exactly.
I remember that
Yeah.
episode. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
He's a weird dude. He always has been.
Yeah.
But I just find him so fucking funny. Like I don't know.
He does comedy so fucking well.
But I just can't
Oh my
imagine doing
god.
that. Like turning my back on anyone. Like I'm like,
No,
oh, this
yeah.
is weird.
It's,
Like
yeah.
that's the thing like with me, like where it's like if I fuck with you, I fuck with you heavy. Like I'll put you
Exactly,
over
yeah.
every chance I get. I might make fun of you every now and then, but at the same time, like it's all love. Like we'll have good times.
Yeah.
If the Ruthless Ravi Khanna didn't bust my balls a little bit, then like, why are we really buds?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's the
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
They say you roast the ones you love. and
Exactly, yeah.
I don't love all these people. Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I hate them. Like dude, Mangot's one of those guys where he's always preaching about like you shouldn't have hate in your heart. You know, you do a lot of mushrooms. Why do you hate? And I'm like, I need to hate though.
He's the best motherfucker.
Oh, dude, he's great.
Am's
But like
best.
for me,
We've been
like,
trying to get Am on here, but he says he's not
He
ready
won't
for
do not
he's
10 years.
he's not ready for
Fucking
podcasts
no
yet.
fucking
Am,
years.
fucking
Not ready for prime time.
and he listens too. He's definitely listening
Oh,
to
he's
this
listening
right
to
now.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
What the fuck,
Fucking
man?
Am,
He's
we're
like,
talking to you.
oh,
Yeah.
man, they brought me up. Why they making fun of me?
You can have your whole hour, baby. Come and get yours.
Yeah.
I'm doing the harsh Will Smith where he's like, why don't they want me, man? That guy's fucked. Anyways, but like, yeah, like Ammo's always telling me, he's like, why do you got so much hate in your heart, Ruthless? Like, you gotta be nice to people. You gotta. I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. Like, I don't. I was like, you gotta make fun of these motherfuckers, man. Like, what else we gonna do? Like,
It's especially like again in this comedy community to have people that you can joke about with it prevents us from like fucking going
crazy.
insane.
Because dude,
Yeah.
comedy's
To
the
just
one of
have
the-
like the reassurance that other people are
When
thinking
we
this
started,
shit
it was
too.
just a vacuum of me and
Yeah.
Jackie hatred, like
Yeah.
outwards or whatever. But
Oh,
now
it's
that
beautiful.
we
Like the
yeah.
group we have now is just nice. and everything.
Exactly,
Everyone
yeah.
hates the same people. It's beautiful.
It's so nice.
because
Yeah.
we understand, like, yo, you're
Yeah.
not a funny person. Don't do this because, like, you don't have any other platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, start a podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Find your own audience.
Do
But
something.
it's
Yeah.
like, don't make me sit through your fucking shit act.
And
of,
take
like,
Yeah.
stage time away from a lot of good comedians that are having a hard
yeah.
time. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you're up there just doing, like, yeah, I get it. We need bringers. We need this
Yeah.
shit. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, like, it's not funny.
When you're
like,
getting
It is,
more
but at
spots
least
than
it-
like
it
actual
exists there.
comedians that are
Yeah.
writing good jokes and put in the work in, it's like this is fucking bullshit. Just because you bring a bunch of people and you like, you know, suck every fucking comedy booker's dick to like get a spot. Like
who's sucking whose dick? I've got my dick
Not
sucked.
you.
I've got my dick
Not
sucked several
you.
times, but mainly male comics.
no one's sucking your dick.
These bitches
Yeah,
sucking
yeah,
dick.
Man, I thought we were just
yeah.
hanging out, dude. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
ask you for a spot.
Where are these fucking pigs that are sucking dick?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Fucking warthogs.
I'm not just the
Sucking
producer.
dicks.
Yeah.
When I was a young warthog.
That's an inside baseball that you guys will never know about. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
meme you'll never see.
Yeah, that's a meme you'll never
You think
see.
it's about you,
Yeah.
it's about you.
That's the first meme that'll get wiped when Ravi dies. Right?
Jackie's doing the wiping. Everything else, she just wants hers gone
Please,
first. Yeah.
please do.
Oh my fucking god. Dude, this is the best. We killed
This is a lot
fucking...
of fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of
I
fun.
just want to say, on behalf of Kanye West, go appreciate this man while he's here.
Yes.
Because he's saying some wild shit in the media. I'm very positive Kanye's not going to make it to 50.
Give him the flowers.
I would,
Give
yeah.
him
I
the
would.
flowers while he's here.
Dude, well, him
Exactly.
and Tyler are going at it a little bit right now, and Quali posted this thing, and he's like, so the last time that this is what happened with the last two times that I hung out with Kanye, and he told me, like, Kanye said that he's drinking way too much, his butler's giving him, like, Grey Goose in the morning, and, like, Tubbs just, like, putting all this shit on Front Street. And so I don't know exactly what's going on over there, but like it sounds like he's going through some shit. You know what, like, Kanye is to me is what the South Park episode of Britney Spears is.
Sure. Yes.
Right? Everybody loves Kanye, but nobody fucking is, like,
Exactly.
I struggle with
It's what we do
shit,
to
and
every
a lot of my
fucking
family
big
does too, so, like, I'm like, I see this shit a mile away. I'm like, is everybody gonna, anybody's, okay, we're just gonna ignore all these warning signs here? So, like, as soon as Kanye fucking pushes, you know, to the next level or whatever, we're all gonna be like, oh, following him around for the no top of the head look or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what you do to every fucking big celebrity like that.
Me,
yeah.
Like in my life, like Kanye West has been the soundtrack to my life for the last 20 years. Like that's but yeah, 20 years now. It's been.
Well, I'm glad you brought it in, dude, because this is a fucking album. I graduated in 2008, so 2 years later, I was already like, so after graduation, coming into this one. Not necessarily for me, doing a bunch of other shit, and honestly, at that time after high school, punk rock really came back into my life in a big way too. So like, definitely slept on it, and you brought it back, and you know, fucking, I gave it a little bit more respect today than I ever gave it.
He's to me, he's for me, he's my guy. Like he's the greatest. Like he's the soundtrack to my life. Like anything I've been through, there's a Kanye track for it. And just the influence of guys he's had around him, like Kid Cudi and Pusha T and guys who Jay-Z obviously like guys who I really look up to is like Kanye for me is the be all end all. To me he's the greatest of all time and he always will be. I love him. Like he's to me and I like Kanye West has me in my car singing about Jesus. What the fuck am I singing about?
Yeah,
Jesus?
right? Getting into fucking these fucking gospel raps. I'll fucking blast fucking Life of Pablo, Ultralight Beam. I'll get like emotional. I'll be like, I've not ever been religious for 1 second in my life, but I'll get emotional listening to Ultralight Beam.
Like, I love Donda. Donda's my favorite album this year, but like there's a track on Donda called Jesus Lord, and it's just like, tell me if you know someone that needs Jesus Lord. Like that's the song for 8 minutes, and I sing it all the time. And I'm like, but
it does speak to like if you're passionate about something and you can bring that into your art, then it'll speak to people even if they don't feel the same way about whatever you're talking about. You can feel that love and that passion, and like Kanye. Like you said, he probably won't be around for that much longer. So. And just from like a comedic standpoint, appreciate him while he's here because he says shit that no one else is ever going to fucking say. Yeah.
I laughed when he was doing this with like all the lights or whatever because I thought that it was going to be like black people's experience with the police or whatever. And then when I was listening to this, I was like, oh, you know who doesn't care about black people? Kanye West.
Yeah.
Literally just talking about
him and George Bush. Yeah. He paints. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he started painting with George Bush. They put out fucking
and I think the last line of the album is who will survive in America, who will survive in America, who will survive in America, who will survive in America. Who amongst us is going to survive? None of us. So enjoy this while we're here. It's all just jokes.
Fucking
around. Enjoy yourself. And
cheers. Cheers. Thank you so much for coming on, man. This was so much fun.
Oh, we're having you back. We'll
do another one?
Yeah.
We'll go through all of his discography.
I wanted to do WWF, the music volume 2.
Oh!
I don't think it would
we'll book the date. We will book the
date.
Oh, man. I'm just a sexy boy.
But real talk, as a person of power in this city, I love both of you guys. You guys are both very funny. You guys make me laugh on a daily basis, and I thank you both for having me on. So much love to both of you.
Thank you so much. We love you very much, dude. This was fucking awesome.
Yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
We good? All right. I gotta take a piss. Plug. WTF YVR is my podcast. Go check that out. Longest running Vancouver comedy podcast. Check that out. And the Comedy Ring on everything. Come out to a show. We'd love to see you. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Roast battles in January. We're gonna have a good time. Peace.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
I gotta take a piss.